The James Whale Show on Talk Radio.
I think Iain Lee's just about to come into
He's
the
got
studio,
Templeton Peck on the show, Faceman from the A-Team. Can you believe it?
When?
Tonight he's coming in, Templeton Peck.
Dirk Benedict's coming in. We might see him walk through those doors in a minute.
Well, Dirk Benedict was his character name. His real actor's name is Templeton Peck.
I think that's the wrong way around.
I need to check Wikipedia there, because you could be doing sabotage.
You could really, couldn't you? How did you know that he got him coming in?
Because me and Ash are good friends. We were hanging out today, playing a bit of FIFA, smoking a bit of reefer.
We had a bit of squash, played a bit of squash.
I hope you didn't hang out and do those sort of things. You're supposed to sleep and keep yourself fit
FIFA and reefer
for the show in the evening.
I thought he'd be all right with
That's a new show that we're pitching when this all goes tits up. FIFA and reefer with Iain and Ash.
And with a bit of squash.
Yep, the orange squash.
Orange squash.
Can you hear?
Got the music.
The A-Team thing, that's clever. Because you've got someone who was in the A-Team coming
Tomorrow we've got Mad Murdoch on.
I thought it was inappropriate the way they kept breaking him out of a very secure mental facility. That is actually abuse of mental illness.
I thought it was fairly inappropriate when they kept shooting people with silver-plated Kalashnikovs.
But no one got
as well.
No one died. No one ever died. No one ever died.
Yeah.
Really?
No, they were terrible shots. They were real bullets, but famously...
That's the American military for you.
Exactly. Well, I'm surprised they didn't shoot some of their own people. You know what I'm saying, Ash?
Exactly.
Yes!
Well, sometimes
blue
they
on
do.
blue.
Yeah. Or red on red.
Is it red?
Yeah, I don't know. I've no
Girl on
idea.
girl.
Yeah.
Guy on guy.
So, who was the other? Who was the big star?
Mr. T.
No.
George Peppard.
George Peppard.
Yeah.
George Peppard, who was a brilliant Hollywood actor before he went into the A-Team.
Boy George was in it as well.
Boy George was in it.
George was in a few episodes.
He was in it.
Was he?
Yeah. And then I was going to say Phil Collins, but Phil Collins was in Miami Vice, I think,
And do you remember he said the W word?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, and because Americans don't really know what that is, but they didn't cut it out when they showed it here. And I remember
in an episode of The Simpsons they used the
Phil
W
Collins
word, and also in Mork and Mindy, either the landlord of Mork and Mindy was Mr. W.
Yes.
See, we don't have shows
Because
like
words
this
mean different
anymore.
things. Like in America, bottom is fanny.
And a fanny pack is not what you think it is. You put money in a fanny pack.
Yeah. So many people do.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking was we should bring back like the early
Hanging.
Saint with Roger. No, I don't want to bring back hanging. It's messy.
With no,
just pills.
It was after
Be
Roger
fine.
Moore. There was the other guy.
Ian Ogilvy.
Yeah, Ian Ogilvy.
Return of the Saint.
Yeah. But do you not remember Roger Moore in Ivanhoe? That was a great show.
No,
You're
mate,
too
because
young.
we
You're too
are
young,
but babies compared to you.
So I mean, there are lots of great shows like that. I love the A-Team. I used to watch that with my kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Why don't they have
Proper
shows
Saturday
like that?
night entertainment.
Yeah.
Fugitives escaping from the American government, going around helping sexy Mexican women and shooting at people.
For a crime they didn't commit with Colonel Decker.
If you can find them. Carol Decker was hunting them down,
Carol
wasn't
Decker
she?
from Tapor.
If you know where they are, if you can find them, maybe you, Ash, could hire the A-Team.
Listen, I wish I could stay and do the whole show with Ian. It sounds great
it's good,
tonight.
lad.
So stay tuned for that. He's
Squash
here.
again tomorrow. And
FIFA and reefer with Ian and Ash.
Have you finished, both of you?
I have, Ash, have you?
Would you like to kiss each other before we go? Good.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me tomorrow. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's all.
Here we go. Don't say you're about to shut up and then carry on talking, Peter Heater, the magician, for crying out loud. There we go, my Lord Jesus. There's nowhere to go with that. My Lord Jesus, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Late Night Alternative. My name is Iain Lee. Catherine Boyle is downstairs getting some Americans, some American guests. That means for the moment it's just me and Pete Heat. Hey, Pete.
Hi, Iain.
Hi, Pete.
Hi.
You're not that much of a magician because you went to the wrong building.
Yeah, you're
How
not that
do you
much.
do it?
Not that much of a host because you sent me to the wrong building.
Kath thought that I told you where it was. I thought that she told you where it was. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. Yeah, I turned up at the other place and I looked in the window and there's just like one guy with a paint roller and I thought, that's not Iain.
That is not
Iain.
Now, you know that we've got other guests coming in.
I'm aware of that.
You've been told this.
I have, yeah, it's quite exciting.
It is very exciting. I can see them walking past. I'm genuinely a little bit nervous as they're about to enter. I think we need to kind of stand up and give them a round of applause.
I think we probably should.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Dirk Benedict live on air as he comes in. Look at this. Come on. Dirk, would you like to sit there, sir?
I would like
Hey, brother,
to.
lovely to see you. I'm
Hi.
see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, since
We met like 15 years ago.
I think I remember.
No, you don't. Come on.
I do.
He does have
It was a television.
It was television.
And
You
it was
turned
a
up
bunch
on...
of people. It was wild and loose.
It was very
and crazy
early.
and fun.
You turned up on a
And I
motorbike.
showed up really early on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Somebody driving me.
Yeah. Come and sit down. We're on the air now. This is it. This is as good as it gets. This is Pete. Pete is my friend. He's a magician.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know if you...
No, we'll provide the magic. We don't need...
Now, which one's Roland?
I'm Roland.
Roland.
My
lovely to
son
meet you.
Roland
I'm
is
Sean.
business partner Sean.
There we go. Come and sit. This is Pete.
well.
Very nice to meet you guys. Think you've come to a very laid-back, kind of relaxed... I don't know what day it is. Wednesday evening. Come closer to the microphone, Mr. Benedict, sir. God, you're so...
are we starting? I see
We're
a red
on.
light. Are we on air?
With respect, you're
right.
a little bit older than I remember, but God damn it, you're still... No, I don't mean...
So are you, pal.
Oh,
Come
buddy.
on.
But God damn
Tit
it,
for tat.
you're so good looking. How are you doing
He's
this?
straight, by the way.
Well, yeah, you're in your... You got to be what?
well, you
late
used
40s?
to be. I don't know. Everything's upside
I
down.
used to be.
now.
I'm bisexual now. So
Are you? Good
maybe
for you.
Gotta mix it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I have my
keep the
days
body
when I
guessing.
identify as something other than totally, utterly masculine, but that's
But you
between
must
and
have
me and the 45 listeners you have.
Who'd like to invert the numbers? Catherine, we're sharing a mic tonight.
Excellent.
I hope you don't mind. This is the Beast We've Read. You must have had, though. I mean, you are a very handsome man. Let's not.
Wow.
Come on.
He's all right. He's a bit of all right.
I'm all right.
You must have had your fair share
I'm
of.
so old now. You have no idea.
I do. I googled it.
I forget you can Google.
But you don't look it.
All I do is giggle.
I've been messing with the numbers for years. You're fine.
You keep shaving. Now, Roland.
This is my job. Yeah.
Be quiet. I'm not talking to you now. I'm talking to your son. Your son is the guy I want to talk to.
He's more interesting than me, anyway. And he's the reason I'm here. Actually, I'm the reason he's here. Now that I think
Roland,
about it.
is he going to be like this? Do we have to ask him to sit outside?
Sometimes.
Okay, right. I don't know how old you are, Roland.
Splendid. I stay off the web.
Okay. At what point? And we got business to do as well. We're going to do some business. I'm going to need links and stuff off you because we're going to sell shed loads of these. As long as we don't use the word soccer, we're going to
do that.
We're going to be
talk
okay.
proper football.
But at what point did you realise your dad was Dirk Benedict, the Dirk Benedict?
Well, I don't remember this, but the story was I was 4 at the park when a kid at the park I was playing with in California informed me that my dad was on a TV show.
Yeah.
And I ended up going back to my dad and said, "Dad, he says you're on the A team. Is that true?" I told him you weren't. And of course, he had to politely tell his 4-year-old son that, yeah, Yeah, that child is correct.
And had you seen the A-Team?
At that point, no.
Right.
At about 10 years old is when I started we had VHS tapes of some of the episodes.
Yeah.
And so in Montana, in a small log cabin, I would play hooky from school and get to watch A-Team episodes.
Wow.
He and his brother had a childhood with me in Montana that you couldn't imagine.
Go on.
And it would we'd have to do another show to discuss it. A log cabin with a wood cook stove and kerosene lamps.
Wow.
This is in the modern century, you know. And we had no TV. We had a TV we could play tapes. We played a lot of Monty Python, right?
The TV screen was half the size of this monitor.
Yeah.
So
you would never know I made my living on that bloody thing, and I never let them watch it.
Why did you not let them watch it?
No, it wasn't. I didn't let them. There wasn't a TV, and I didn't want one, and it was just me and Ron and his brother, and there wasn't time really. And I taught him how to play poker. We played Monopoly. Great poker players, and we had conversations.
Shut up.
I wanted to have.
No, you did not have conversations with your children.
I love talking.
How dare you?
I like to chat.
Do you, Dirk? I haven't noticed.
So why Montana? Was it a conscious attempt?
I was born there.
Aha. And you wanted to get away from LA, or that was never an issue?
No, I didn't hate LA, but I didn't want to raise my kids there, and I'd had this wonderful 25 years there, and got to do a show called the A-Team, which was sort of, I did things after that, but it was so exciting, so fun, and so different, and everything after that was boring and slow, and it drove me nuts. So
does it upset you that, because we said you're coming on, and you've done loads of stuff. One person mentioned you playing Columbo in a play.
Only one?
Exactly. And everyone else was like Battlestar Galactica, the A-Team.
Yeah.
But you've done so much more stuff. Does that kind of get to you a bit that it's those two roles that are the main
better
thing?
Those two than nothing. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I like being remembered for basically two shows. Battlestar Galactica, and they were because they were family shows.
Yeah.
And they were family shows that the world really has watched. So I'm not known as playing characters that are disgusting and ugly and that you wouldn't want your kids to. So it's kind of nice. I mean, I have no problem with that, and I wouldn't mind getting to do some of the roles that the other actors, but I never got. But it is kind of nice, and I go all over. I don't do it so much anymore, all over the world, and meet people who watch the show with their children. So they were family shows. So if you're going to be remembered for something, because I'll be gone sometime, I may drop dead right on this show.
Wow, that would be with respect.
These two guys,
that's a legendary.
The legend.
Now listen,
They've dragged me all day long. We've been going all over London, trying to find somebody to let us go on the air. And finally,
they knocked and they said, "Well, I mean, I suppose." Are you a fan of magic, guys? Because we got Pete Heat.
I do love close-up magic.
Pete, would you
don't look so keen. You don't look so keen.
I'm not a fan of magic.
No, I can tell. I can tell.
No,
I can pick up on it.
I don't know, because I find life magical with. Well, no, he doesn't watch TV. He doesn't. He's never seen. So
I used to watch the A-Team. No, to be honest, magic has either people love it or they go, not so much, not for me. What is it? Is it that you just think it's childish, or is it like people have different reasons?
No,
what is it with you?
I love childish. It's that I don't know whether I don't like being fooled, or I know there's an answer to the magic that they do, and so we go, oh well, we don't know, so we're supposed to, because when you make a card disappear on stage, I mean, we know you didn't really make it disappear, so it's not really. And the other real reason is that life is magical. My life has been so magical that there's real magic in my existence, and I don't get thrilled by.
Well, Pete, with that in mind, that the person next to you doesn't get thrilled by what you do, thrill us.
Good luck.
Tough crowd.
Roland loves it.
Pete, what have you got for us?
We'll start off with a little one to get warmed up, right? So imagine I reach into my pocket and I pull out a handful of change, okay? Like coins, right? English change, yeah. I'm giving them a little jingle. There, it's an imaginary jingle, so at home, just imagine.
He's shaking an empty hand.
Yeah, there's nothing in it. And imagine I dump that change down on the counter and it makes the noise that it would make if I did that, right?
Yes.
Iain, I'll try this with you. let's say it's less than £5, and it's not like a particularly even number. It might not be like £1, £2, £3. It's some random number. So, but it's less than £5. How much is it?
I would say it's £3.26.
£3.26.
£3.26.
Sure you don't want to change your mind?
I don't want to change my mind.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Earlier I went to a cafe and I bought some stuff, a coffee among other things, and I got some change and I dumped it on the counter and I actually took a picture of it. Let me show you. Hold on, sorry. In fact, if you go to the pictures on my phone there.
What am I going to see?
Careful now, careful.
And you go to the
photos. I'm clicking photos.
Go to the last picture taken, which is probably a couple of hours ago now.
Okay.
Can you see it? Is there a wallet with some coins on it? Can you see that?
The bottom.
The wallet with the coins, yeah.
Count up the amount of change that is in that picture.
Right, this. What did I?
You said.
There's £3.26. You can't. No, you guys. There's a picture.
Is it 3.26? I don't know. Roland, try.
He doesn't understand English money.
Right.
Can you?
Well, I gotta see it. It looks like a £2 coin,
Far away.
a £1 coin.
That's 3.
So we're good there.
Yeah.
Two
10
pence, a 5 pence, and a 1 pence.
But we weren't here when they.
This
they
could be
could
set
have
up.
set all.
This
They
could
could
be
have.
set up.
It could be a setup.
We're right.
You got to.
Seems pretty authentic to me, but.
Let's do.
No.
Well, also look at the
That's
time.
how they get.
You're right.
Look at the timestamp of when it was taken as well. 8:13 today. So this is a long time ago. But yes, you're right. Maybe Ian could be in on it.
No, that was good.
Dirk's a tough crowd.
Do you want to see?
You guys are mates, right?
We are mates. So that could have been a fixed Pete.
Ian, it's the old 327 trick. Right, we'll open with the 327 trick, and take it from there. Now, do you want to see something a bit more visual there?
Yeah,
so you
go
can
on.
actually see
Go
something.
on.
That you wouldn't normally
Visual
see.
would be good on radio.
Yeah, but that's why I did.
For us,
That's why I
love visual.
That's why
Everyone's listening.
Do
This is
people
just
know what you look like? It's been years since you're on the telly.
No, don't, because I did.
That's
That's what they say to you.
They don't know who.
No, I did a reality.
I signed an autograph today, by the way.
Did you?
Big
George
moment.
Pepper.
How did you know? I still
That's
have
real
it.
magic.
He's got hair under that hat.
I'm wearing a hat and I took it off because
Normally,
he's suspicious.
when actors or performers of a certain age wear a hat, you think, I know what's good.
Right,
You've got a great head of hair. Go on, Pete, do one more, and then then we're going to talk shin pads, guys.
Okay, all right, that's it. So yeah, you're right. Visual is not ideal for the radio, which is why I didn't open with that one.
I like his demeanor.
Thank you. I'm a lovely,
very tall as well.
affable character.
Don't stand up.
Okay, you know what? So this is for the listeners. This is a pack of cards being shuffled. There you go. Just like you were here, isn't it? I'm
I'm watching closely.
Okay, you watch closely. And as I spread through that,
Oh, he's shaking.
as I spread through that, can you check that they're all different? They're not all the same card, right?
Can you see, Dirk?
Can you see?
I can.
Yeah. And could you take one out? Take one out.
Where's my glasses?
Okay, so start again. Yeah. So take one out from somewhere in the pack. Okay.
This is the weirdest show we've ever done.
Okay. Are you sure you want the 9 of diamonds? By the way, I'm saying this while looking the other way.
Where's the mirror? He did.
It's the 9 of diamonds,
He
right?
guessed
That was
right.
pretty good.
He guessed right. Don't demean his
I'm very lucky.
That's very
I'll tell you
good.
what, could you mark that in some way? If you put like it could be initials or your name or whatever you want.
Sign the bloody
How do you
thing. Come
spell? How do you spell Mr. T? I'm nervous.
Yeah, I was going to say no, shake it. Right, there you go. So we got so DB, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you know, I'm going to stand up just so from across the room you can see as well. Is this loud enough? You can hear me.
You can hear me, don't you worry.
Basically, we'll do this a couple of times. This is the worst trick for anyone listening.
He's
Basically,
putting the card back in the pack.
yeah, right about halfway in, would you say,
Yeah,
Ian?
yeah, I
But
would say that.
hopefully you didn't see the move, which is basically what I did. I brought it back to the top, so I've actually controlled it. You see that? It's right on
Whoa,
top.
I didn't see that.
Hold on,
Well, I was
I'll show you that.
looking-
look
Okay,
again.
all right, I'll show you again, but watch really closely. So the DB card.
Okay, so
Your initial card. It's
Now
about
it's
what?
in the
Halfway
middle.
in, would you say? Have there been any moves?
That's what she said.
Turn over the top card. Turn over the top card.
Oh, come on! I hate this. See, this is why I get angry. I don't like not knowing.
Thank you, but you know,
I feel so stupid.
Shall I tell you what's going on there? Kind of. So what it is, I have a duplicate card, a duplicate 9 of diamonds with your initials on. I'll show you what I mean. It doesn't seem like that would be possible because I didn't know what card you were going to take or what your initials were going to look like, right? But look, in my wallet, in the middle is a zipped compartment.
Oh, this is
Oh,
too
no.
much.
Okay, and inside the
He's
zip,
opening his wallet. He's in an inner
there's an
sanctum.
envelope.
He's
There's an
pulling out
envelope,
which is sealed. That's sealed.
Oh,
Could you rip that open for me?
on!
Love it.
No.
Love it.
And that's properly sealed,
Oh, it's
right?
very well
I'm
sealed.
surprised no one saw me
Where's
looking
my
at it.
knife?
He's going to get furious in
I
a minute.
can't
on this.
open the envelope.
bring a knife up
You
here.
open the envelope.
That's-
Roland is
that's
opening
how-
the
that's how
envelope.
Now we're
sealed
getting
it is.
tampering.
Inside
I'm in
there.
on it.
What's inside? A folded card. A card neatly
It's a
folded into
stick of-
quarters.
Oh my God! It's a folded up card, and of course, This is crazy. It's got it's the card I wrote on.
The thing is, it's not bewilderment.
No,
it's actual
I
anger.
do love this. I feel furious. I changed. I was so
Yes, well done, Ben.
Thank you.
Listen, we're going to have a quick break, then we're going to have a little more chat. We got some calls as well, people that want to chat.
I want to hear about some shin pads.
We're going to talk about shin pads. We're going to sell the hell out of these shin pads. This, dear listener, is Talk Radio.
Experience the unconventional, the unpredictable, and the completely unorthodox.
Exactly.
With rule-free Iain Lee. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
I've got no internet for the last 4 days.
On Talk Radio.
You may not remember. And I did.
Bless you. Yeah. We're back on the air. We got Dirk Benedict. We got Pete Heat.
Hello.
We've got Roland Benedict. We got Sean Person.
Right. Hello.
That's the name. We couldn't believe that was the last name. That's a great name.
Crazy.
Now, Sean and Roland, you two you very kindly, you're helping a senior. You're bringing bringing Dirk to see the sights. And can I ask, as a travelling companion, Sean, you're not related to him, are you?
I am not.
Come and get a little bit closer to that microphone.
I'm not.
What is he like to travel with?
Dirk Benedict?
Be honest.
So many good stories. So many good stories.
And I bet there's stories that we can't broadcast.
Non-stop.
But so how...
You gotta dive deep.
Now, so, Roland, you are a football player.
Correct.
And
so is Sean.
Sean's a football player. Okay. Yeah. And well done for responding to the word football and not soccer, because I know it can get to... I'm not a sporty guy, but I've got kids that like football.
Let's go with football.
No, actually looks quite sporty.
Thank you very much. Catherine's very sporty, aren't you?
He's active in his chair.
Very, very active. I've got butt plugs in. Now, that's irrelevant to this. But you're professional footballers.
No, I was. It's in a small way at one point.
What do you mean in a small way? What?
I played in Belgium. Smaller club in Belgium.
Okay.
But I was...
But you were getting paid for it.
I was, so it counts.
Yeah, that counts.
So
it totally counts.
Man City actually was the club that kind of pioneered me going to Belgium and mainland Europe, and I spent a lot of time in the youth academies at Southend United, and so I've done the whole English
But
football
how did
setup.
you, because obviously, what I know about soccer in America
I
is
thought we
just...
weren't going to...
I know, but I'm trying to...
He's the host. You said soccer.
Is what we see in films with Will Ferrell and stuff. That is kind of...
Jack Nicholson shouting at his boy.
Yeah, it's a very niche thing. So how does an American boy who's in Montana in a cabin with his dad, not watching the A-team, how do you get into football?
I just went out and started. I love to run,
right?
And I started all the traditional American football, baseball, and they were fun. And I was successful at it. I was an athlete. It was just so boring.
Really?
Standing there waiting for someone to throw a ball for somebody else to miss. Mm-hmm. It was just boring. And so I was a basketball player. It was my first sport.
You're very tall and slim. So I'm guessing American football, where you kind of need to have a bit of...
I used to be short and slim. Now I'm short and stocky.
No, but I just started playing. I just started playing and continued to play through high school. And I had the crazy idea. I hated school.
Yeah.
And I had the crazy idea that I knew, starting to watch English football, and I knew that the younger you are, the better chance you had to play professionally. And my goal was to play in the NBA and eventually be a professional athlete. I changed from basketball to football, proper football. So I luckily had a dad that said yes to my crazy idea of let's move to England and try and play professionally. I had no agent. I had no interest.
How old were you?
I was 18. I graduated from high school.
Did you move with him, or did you send him over? How did that...
I sent him over, gave him some money, and said,
Got him out of the house.
No, I didn't. I went with him. I tagged along. I live vicariously through my sons. I have 3 of them. I have no life except theirs.
That's what it becomes when you're a parent.
Sean, I go to all their games. No, that's not quite true. Although it's the best part of my life is having raised my kids. But no, we came together. We got a flat over in by Putney Bridge.
Did you?
Yeah, we lived here. Oh yeah, we lived and then we called around, got a trial. He had a trial at Gilliam, and they liked him. They kept him for a couple weeks, and then Southend called. He went down there, and they loved him, and they put him on that guy. And then Man City called. Then he came, and then Man City called and said, we heard about the... Can I tell the Apple story?
You can tell the Apple story.
Or do you want to tell it?
No, I'll interject.
It's better because Because the personnel guy from Man City told me this story. He said, we heard about this American. There's not many
Take a
Americans.
picture of you guys while you're talking to tweet this. Go on, you carry on.
All right.
No,
but I can't pose while I'm.
By the way, it was Hayden Roberts at Manchester
There's magic
City.
in this picture. It's magical. It's magic.
It was Hayden Roberts, the former head of player care.
I love the way you're coming to start telling the story because he's getting
He's getting distracted. He gets distracted.
We got the camera
Gets
out.
excited.
All stopped.
The head of player care at Manchester City was the one that heard this story, the Apple story from Southend.
I heard. He says, yeah, they called. I said, well, how? He said, well, we heard about this American this young kid at Southend, and he's got skills. He's behind the other players because in America the coaching is not as good. But he has stamina and he has endurance. He's smart. He's got all this stuff. He said, but the thing that really everybody was curious. He said because he would come off the training pitch, and they train from 9 till they come in, and they have a big bowl of candy, and the players would grab some candy to get a little sugar. And Roland come in and said, excuse me, and they come, yeah. He said, do you have an apple? And I go, we got an apple. So they go, we got an apple back. The lad wants an apple. So they go and they find an apple.
I find that culturally insensitive.
I know.
They didn't have any apples.
Wow.
So next to the training ground in Southend is a grocery store.
Yeah.
And I left training and went over and bought a bag of apples and started just having apples that I left the training ground and ate apples. And eventually I brainwashed more of the players to start eating apples.
Yeah, because he had great endurance, and then other players. Ricky, the manager, told me this.
Yeah,
he says he's pretty soon. He had Ricky Duncan had half the players eating apples. It's like Apple Annie. I said it's like Johnny Appleseed. He could take over English football with the apple, with the whole. Well, it was this. So
anyway,
he is the apple of my eye. So now. But anyway, they wanted to go home. So they wanted to bring him up for a couple days.
Yes.
And he stayed for 4 or 5, 6 weeks, and then they kind of he could tell the rest of the story.
Now, okay, so you've been playing football, and now we have these. I'm going to open these. I'm opening these on there. We have bamboo shin pads.
But this box doesn't look big enough to have shin pads in it.
Come on now.
Whoa.
These are classy, man.
It's a classy box.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Protect your shins. Good. Oh, a little bit of sort of neoprene padding on the inside there.
Describe it, Pete. Sell it. You're on QVC.
Well, we've got a kind of engraved L for legend there, sort of burnt into the wood, would you say? And then on the inside you've got this really grippy yet soft neoprene padding. And to be honest, it's the classiest shin pad I've ever seen. It genuinely is.
Watch him, it's going to go up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Watch those hands, right?
Okay, so why bamboo? Because I say I'm not football. My boys are 7 and 9, and they love football. So I go and watch them, and it's such a joy. You know what it's like standing on. It's the best thing, man. So why are these better? Why should we be getting these instead of the other shin pads?
Well, I mean, look at them.
Well, they're beautiful.
They're the most gorgeous thing in the room besides Catherine.
Oh, jeez,
Nice.
these are very
And she'll have a pair. No, there's been no change in shin pads. They're plastic, they're a different shape, a different color, and Nike and Adidas throw a different logo on it, and it's the same product. Mm-hmm. So for us, Sean, when I met Sean, we were playing a semi-pro level of football in the States, and we sat down over a pint, and Sean told me the brilliant idea he had of we need to have innovation in some new products, and the one that we went after was the shin pad.
Yeah.
And so it was many years of trying to figure out the best material.
Why is it bamboo?
It's, well, we
can
came
I hit Catherine with it and test it? I mean,
you can, absolutely.
There will be repercussions.
It's incredibly lightweight.
Yeah.
It's a sustainable material, so it's environmentally friendly, which is a big thing that we stand on. Is the plastic shin guards? All of them that have been made are probably still on the planet.
But what are the pandas going to eat, Roland? You're not thinking about the pandas.
Bamboo grows like a weed. In 2 to 4 years, that bamboo stock that was cut down is back
up again. Okay.
To full size. Sustainability. You know what sustainability means, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got an idea. Thank you for clarifying.
But they're incredibly strong, lightweight.
Stop it. We've tried helping him.
Stuff a panda. There we go. There's something.
And they're built to last.
Okay. Where's the place I'm going to tweet a link, legendsoccer.com.
Correct.
is the place at Legend Soccer Co. So I'm going to tweet this right now. So if you want to go and have a look at these, legendsoccer.com is the place to go for these. And they are...
they do look really good.
They're very beautiful.
There is a kicker to these.
Oh.
So listeners can't see it, but our logo is in the center of the shin pad.
Yeah.
We actually do full custom. So we can take anything from your favorite club logo to the talk radio logo to your and Catherine's face.
Wow, I want to be on shin pads.
And laser engrave them into the front of the shin pad.
Been on shin pads.
You got to order some, and we'll put them in. We'll put them in here for the radio
it's
show.
Happening. Legendsoccer.com is the place to go if you want to have a look at these.
That's actually a brilliant present, a Christmas present.
Yeah, it's
isn't it?
wicked. And it comes in a classy box. You're getting a little bag to keep them in. Look at this. This is
Or a
great.
bag, I'm sorry, bag. Yeah.
I'm going to get some Iain Lee shin pads to just wear around the house.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Listen, we're gonna plug that link again before you. Are you right to stay till 11? Is that okay? Or what time are you going?
No, it's your show. We'll stay until you start boring us, or we bore you.
You can stay as long as you want.
When you tell us to leave, we'll go.
We'll keep talking until the last listener.
We can. No, yeah, no.
We can stay till 1.
We'll take another half.
Keep you to 1.
It is getting.
It's
only 10:30.
I don't know what that means. Is he saying he wants to go now, or he wants to stay all week? I don't understand.
I think he'd let you know.
Does he want to go or does he want to stay? Story of my life. I can never decide. Are you in or are you out?
Can you give us another trick? Would you mind?
Absolutely. Yeah, do you want to say another trick?
Can you make me disappear?
I want to hear.
Hollywood did. Hollywood made me disappear.
Oh no!
Oh, it did.
This is a brand new
We've
one.
got a couple of calls.
If you knew.
This is a brand new one, so I've got no idea if it's going to. Well, I think it'll work, but that's it. So I have my business cards here, and I have. Let me just touch this up. I've drawn a little stick man on one of them. Can you see that? Little stick man. He's got a top hat on. There's a Pete Heath business card. He's got a little top hat on because he's a bloody magician. Let's say he represents you for the sake of this trick. So that's you once you decide to take up magic instead of selling shin pads. And what's your performer's name? What should we call you?
My performer?
Do you have a stage name as a magician now?
Oh, as a magician,
Yeah.
I'm called Dirk the Great.
Dirk the Great. So I'm going to write that on the top there.
Getting back to some of the women in your life, no doubt. Refer to you as that.
No, that'd be Dirk the Not So Great.
Okay, so we're in Dirk the Great on the top of the business card, and there's a little stick man with the top hat on the bottom, right? Dirk, I'm gonna give that to you to hold on to for a second. Okay, so in fact, if we put it face down, put your hand on top of that for me, so I can't tamper with that. Okay, great.
His hand is on the top.
So Dirk the Great is holding a business card with his name, Dirk the Great, written on it, and a little stick man drawn on it as well. Now, something I've got as well is I've got a list of, it was one of those sort of 100 holiday destinations to go to before you die, you know what?
Yeah.
Bubble in my throat there. Just so emotional. But you know, one of those lists that I got on, off the internet, so it's like 100 different places. Dirk, could you give me a number between 1 and 100? Yeah, whatever. What's the thing?
49.
49, sure? Don't want to change? Okay, and I'm going to show you this, and I'll show you all of you guys this list. So if you
He's now showing me.
Okay, so the list is called World Famous Landmarks. So for example, if you'd have said number 1, it would have been Christ the Redeemer, right?
Wow.
2 would have been Big Ben. Oop, my microphone just fallen over. Iain is jumping to my head, and so on. And they're all different all the way down. So we got the Eiffel Tower, Great Wall of China. They're all different all the way down.
Wow.
So what did you say? 49.
Yeah.
Okay, so 49 on this list is the Pyramids of Giza, right? Okay. And they're all different.
I wouldn't
all the
mind
way.
that.
All different all the way. So
would be fun.
is where Dirk the Great is headed to do his next show, right? Now, here's the thing, Dirk the Great.
By camel?
Yes, by camel.
I always wanted to ride a camel.
By camel.
Like Peter O'Toole.
So, Dirk, you chose that location from the list after I handed you that business card, is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so the Pyramids of Giza. Have a look at the card now. Have a look at the Dirk the Great business card now. Turn it over.
Well, I haven't taken my hand off.
No.
It either.
Dirk the Great is now wearing a fez, and he's standing next to the Pyramids of Giza.
There's two pyramids, and the stick man is walking towards them. The sun is shining. It's obviously in the desert.
And it's still the same card because it still says Dirk the Great on the top, so nothing has been switched, right? It's clearly the same.
Is that the same stick man?
It's clearly the same card.
I don't recognize the stick man.
Well, no, the stick man's changed. He's now wearing a fez because he's in Egypt.
Oh, that's right.
Culturally appropriate.
And he's even got the sweat dripping off the...
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
That is really amazing.
Thank you.
That with less sarcasm.
And
in
I'm
your
the
voice.
guy. I know. Was that sarcasm?
Yours a little bit.
I never know. I never know.
I'll tweet a picture of it. I'll tweet a picture of it so you can see what's going on at home.
Dirk, now you had a little thing there where you said Hollywood forgot you.
Right.
And there is for actors, you're lucky that you've had quite a few highs in your career where you've been like hot property.
Are we going to talk about the lows now?
Well, I don't.
Where's your Kleenex, your napkin?
I don't want to dwell on it, but do you feel kind of abandoned? I mean, I've looked at your CV. You've been working a lot. You do a lot of stuff.
I do.
Do you feel a bit abandoned?
No.
Good.
No.
By the industry.
But there's reasons why I don't. Most actors that went through what I have gone through, well, they can't leave Hollywood because you can't, without celebrity in the air. And if you once had fame and and then it starts to fade, it destroys people because it becomes their identity.
Addictive.
It's their identity.
Yeah.
It's what makes them feel. We all have things that make us feel worthwhile. For Pete, it's drawing pyramids with stick men.
Thanks.
So good for him. But if someday he couldn't do this, he would go, "Where am I?" No. So and I was really when they 18, I could go anywhere and people would recognize me, and now I can go anywhere and not be recognized. So, but it doesn't bother me because I didn't become an actor because I wanted to be famous, which was also unusual, which I didn't understand until I met other actors. Yeah. So they never had a hook in me, which hurt my career because they couldn't manipulate me. They said, well, then you won't be, I said, well, that's fine. I'll go back to Montana and work in the woods. Yeah. I wasn't in it to be either rich or famous. And I'm not either. God. But but if you don't nurture celebrity and money, you lose it.
But there is a lot of affection for you. You say you're not recognizable. I think.
I do get recognized. I did sign it on. No.
People would recognize you.
We did photos today.
There is a lot of affection for you as well. Genuinely. We said you're coming on. People are like, oh my God.
That's true. So I have the best of both worlds.
I think so.
I can be anonymous, but I can still come to England and tour for 6 months playing Lieutenant Columbo on stage. And
how much fun was that?
We sold out houses. What?
How much fun was that being Columbo?
Oh, it was great. I started in the theater. I started on Broadway. I did repertory theater. I trained with the RADA, Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. Yeah. That was my Albert Finney was my idol. I wanted to be Albert Finney. And I had the same teachers as Albert Finney. I smoked the same cigars as Albert Finney. But I didn't become Albert Finney, no. So that was my dream, is the theater. So getting to do Columbo was great. And I got to play all the great theaters in the UK, including the Opera House of Northern Ireland. Yeah. In Belfast. So I had that training, which was great. I never wanted to be in movies. That was all an accident, television and movie. It was kind of a tangent that I got on. And I also have other talents and interests. I'm writing, and my real love was music. I played Dixieland trombone, so that's and acting was an accident. So I didn't grow up going, I want to be an actor. I never thought of it. There was no movie house or television where I grew up, so it wasn't in my conscious.
You you still play the trombone?
I don't.
Yes. Really? Roland's chipping in.
Well, I've heard it. Yeah.
I have it at my house by my piano, my beautiful Steinway piano. I have a world-class piano. And every now and then I play it, but I used to be really good.
My 9-year-old's just learning the trombone.
You lose your what?
My 9-year-old has just started learning the trombone.
Oh, it's a great instrument.
Oh, and I love it. And it's just so big and powerful.
I know.
It's wonderful.
Kind of sexy, and the history of the trombone and the great trombone players, Trummy Young and Jack Teagarden, and my favorite was a player named Kid Ory, who's in the same generation with Satchmo. Wow. And he, in fact, when they were young in New Orleans, they played together. I forget Satchmo's what it was called, what his band was called then. But Kid Ory was in it, and then Kid Ory later had I'm sure your audiences are not interested.
Who cares what those losers think? Listen, let's have a quick
more magic. Where's the magic?
Have a quick break.
Where's the magic?
And then we're going to come back. We've got a couple of calls, if that's right. We've got our good friend Alan Caddick. We've got Roger. We're very, very keen to talk to you. We're going to give out the website again if you want to get...
For Legend Soccer.
Oh, exactly. Legendsoccer.com if you want to go and have a look at these bamboo shin pads and get them.
I got to do Celebrity Brother, too, you know.
No, you wouldn't go down well in that. I know you did it. You did it in a very controversial year. It all kicked off.
Oh, my God.
Shilpa Shetty.
My other son George said, "Dad, can you imagine the Prime Minister of England woke up one morning and his assistant says, 'Oh, Mr. Prime Minister, you have to go address the nation because Shilpa Shetty was insulted by Jade Goody.'" The Prime Minister had to deal with what was going on this insanely.
It was a big...
It was an international incident, wasn't it?
They rioted in India.
Yeah. Jade had to go over there and do their Big Brother.
She had to go over and do mea culpa.
No, of course you should, but that's how seriously. I mean, how long ago was that? 10, 12 years?
2007.
So it's 12 years. That's how seriously we took, and to a certain extent still do, these reality shows.
Oh, it's life.
Oh, it's not. I did a reality show a couple of years ago. Have you heard of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of the Jungle? I did that.
You did that?
I did that. I was getting divorced.
I
was getting divorced, and I needed
good timing.
The old divorce check.
I wanted to know if you could still feel pain.
No, I needed. I needed.
Am I totally numb?
Are all the senses still alive?
But even it's kind of died down now. But even that it becomes front page news just because I stole some strawberries. It's not the same thing as the race row that you were a witness to.
But in the house, we didn't know anything about it.
No.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
It was a non-event. What happened between those girls, they were fighting. It was a power struggle between Shilpa and the other girls. And Shilpa was a master manipulator. She manipulated the whole nation.
Yeah.
She was so smart and so clever. And did you ever watch at night? I used to sneak into her bed. I would go sneak over to her bed and she would scream bloody murder. She would literally start screaming.
Imagine if 12 years later, after it had all died down, Dirk says something really racist about Shilpa and it all kicks off.
She was beautiful. But my line was, I said, I don't know whether to marry her or spank her or adopt her. Because she was like so much younger.
Maybe there's 3, I don't know.
Did you enjoy it though, Big Brother?
Well, I thought I would hate it, but I learned so much. I don't want to bore everybody here with, I learned so much. And I learned a lot about myself, how off the hook I am from everything.
Yeah.
First of all, I live on brown rice. So as long as I had rice and beans, I was good. So, because people were going through chocolate withdrawal was the big one, and alcohol too, but chocolate. When they first sent chocolate in the house, I stepped back with Jermaine Jackson and we just, and Leo Sayer, and we just watched everybody at the table jabbing their forks into this big chunk of chocolate and stuffing their faces.
Wow.
Who knew? Is it true? I read this, and I don't believe anything I read on the internet, but you had cancer.
Yes.
And you got rid of cancer by going onto a macrobiotic diet.
I went to a magician and I said, could you please...
it's good to see you again.
Forget the stick men and the pyramids. Can you make it all go away?
Yeah.
Actually, I did go to a magician. I met an Oriental gentleman, doctor.
Yeah.
They don't call him doctors, but I mean, true.
Don't call them Orientals anymore, but
yes.
Also true.
I shouldn't joke about it. So I wrote a book because it's such a complicated, it's a long story, but I wrote a book. It's called Confessions of a Kamikaze Cowboy. And it's, the book's as good as the title. The title's good. Took me a year to write the book and a year to come up with the title. Titles are everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it's the story of what I did to get rid of cancer, and I did with changing my diet.
Prostate cancer.
Prostate. I was 29.
Wow.
I was Roland's age.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah. So I went cold turkey and went through this metamorphosis, and that was after I'd had a career in Hollywood. I'd done a TV show. And I'd done 4 or 5 movies, and I've been on Broadway a couple of times, and then this all happened, and I went away. And I was gone for about 3 or 4 years.
And you stopped that diet.
And then I did Battlestar. So if you see me from stuff before, I look totally different.
Right. Yeah.
I was more of an American football player. You know, I had I had that beefy look.
But then you became a cute pinup.
I became a cute pinup.
Kind of like a Davy Jones, David Cassidy.
Yeah,
we need to take a quick break. We need you, Sean Cassidy. Right, so this is Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Late Night Alternative. That's the voice of Iain Lee.
How many names has Dirk Benedict just dropped in that last 5 minutes?
I counted about 5. But I think I might have missed a
Gloria
couple.
Swanson, Fred Astaire, Charlton Heston. Man, you need to be listening to the breaks. Go on, sorry.
So many, and Roland, Dirk's son tells us this is just par for the course. If you're sitting out on their patio in Montana, these are the sort of stories that just happen all the time.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
If you follow that cable, Dirk, there'll be a little knob at the end of it.
The one that goes out the door and leaves the studio? That's mean.
You fiddle with that knob.
Those are breadcrumbs.
There's a knob.
You fiddle with the knob.
We got some callers.
It was
for you.
unplugged. I'm good. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Is that an MTV show? MTV Unplugged?
Let's have a word with Alan Caddick.
Hi, Kev. Hi, Mark. Hi, Dirk.
Wow. Hi, Alan. You seem very laid back.
Well, particularly I'm nervous for my mum for tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, your mum's in for an operation.
Alan's mum is going on dialysis tomorrow. She's been very poorly, so we've all got our fingers crossed and sending lots of good vibes.
Yeah, we send you positive energy.
Oh, thanks very much. I love doing Celeb TV, but I grew up watching you on the A-Team.
Grew up watching you on the A-Team, loved you in Big Brother. Have you got a question for Dirk, Alan?
Oh, good 18 question for you.
Okay.
You know your character, Tempton Peck, a.k.a. Face Man? What was the best con you ever pulled?
Oh, can you remember the best con the Face Man ever pulled? Do you remember the A-Team specifics, or is it like a big blur of activity?
The best con was getting Roland's mother to marry me.
I've seen pictures.
That
She's
was
a
real con job.
That was the long con. That was the long con.
No, I'm sorry, Alan. I did so many of them. You're talking about women now, right?
No,
cons.
No, talking about...
I can't remember. No, I can't remember. But we were just, Sean and Roland and I, in the flat where we're staying, we just turned on the TV and there was the A-Team.
Always on.
And I couldn't remember the episode very well because it was later and it was...
I remember the one where you had that Corvette and George Pepper was Clarence Wilkinson III and the rabbit who ate Las Vegas.
Well, you see, the point is that you remember.
Yeah.
That was the whole point, not me, because... And I so... I like playing the Irish priest. I did a con as the Irish priest.
How did the accent go?
Yeah, what?
How did the accent
go? It was a terrible accent, but that was the whole point. It wasn't even close. And that's what was...
And they still bought it.
Yeah.
The face.
I almost got fired. I didn't get fired for that. I got called on the carpet. The producer goes, what the hell? He called me up. He said, why do you... And after he saw the rushes, he goes, why did you do it? Because I said, hey, get me a priest out. I'm going to do this little con pretending to be in... He said, why did you do it? You didn't have to be undercover. Nobody knows who you are in this town. You're not pretending. They're already... You're not hiding. I know, and that's what I said, but Steve, it's funny. That's what's funny. Yeah. And they didn't, we always were trying to make it sillier than they wanted it to be. Yeah. That's why later they added I was just watching the episode, they added other characters and they tried to straighten us out, make us more.
My favorite thing not that Alan, you care about my opinion, but my favorite part of the con was always being sent. Face was always sent to save Murdoch.
Yeah.
And Face would always come up with this elaborate con to go in. And my favorite one is you're going in to get him out of a mental hospital, which happened quite frequently. And Murdoch's flooded his room. He's complete, and you have this elaborate plan, and you show up, and he's buried in a water-filled room, not coming out.
He's floating or something on his mattress.
Yeah, and your plan's gone. It's shot. At that point.
Yeah, that was right. And also the one where he came out, he was Sinatra. Remember, he was singing.
I remember that one.
He was Frank Sinatra.
Yes, I remember that.
Fly me to the moon. And he had the hat. And, Marlon Brando called Dwight, because he did his Marlon Brando on the show. Yeah. And Dwight, one night, and I've heard that Dwight says, last night, you're not going to believe it. So he got this call. And it was and it was Marlon Brando. And he thought it was... Because Dwight was friends with Dick Cavett, who was friends with Marlon Brando. So he thought it was Dick Cavett pretending to be or somebody. So he's come who is it? He thought maybe it was me, He said, who is it? And so he hung up. And the guy called back. He said, no, it's Marlon. Marlon, I watch your show, So I told Dwight, he said, I know. And so Dwight comes, guess who I talked to? So he found out that Dick Cavett had given him Dwight's number.
Yeah.
He says, call him. So he called him because he loved the show. And he told Dwight, he says, you do the best Marlon Brando. He says, I love your Marlon Brando. And he says, I want to come and be on your show, but I'm too fat.
Oh, no!
And we said, and Dwight says, no, we love you. No. And then he said, all I do is eat potatoes. He said, how can you forget this stuff? He said, I sit in bed and I have a microwave and a drawer full of potatoes, and I watch the A-Team, and I pull out potatoes and put, where do you put that cream?
Sour cream.
Sour cream.
Yeah.
And I eat them, and I watch the A-Team.
What a delightful picture.
That was marvelous.
That's a splendid visual.
I've never told that story.
That's
in
incredible.
public.
We got another. Should we go to Roger?
Let's do Roger. Roger, you're on.
Good evening, Catherine. Good evening, Ian.
Good evening, Roger. Roger's a little bit nervous to speak to you.
All right.
I'm extremely nervous. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Good evening, Dirk.
Good evening, Roger. Don't be nervous.
You were a massive part of my childhood because for me...
What he's saying is that you're his dad and he wants some money, okay?
All right, here it comes. No, I'm not. I'm not your father. I was never in England in 1982. I am not.
Go on, Roger. Sorry.
But yeah, when Glatzer was shown in the UK, I was just the right age. For me, it was my Star Trek in my childhood because I hadn't really seen Star Trek at that point.
Don't tell William Shatner.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like it.
But was it as fun as how it appears on screen? Because it looked like you had a whale of a time.
It's fine.
Was it fun?
Oh, was it fun? Yeah. I thought you were saying it was fun. I was gonna. Well, did it look like it was fun?
Yeah.
Yes, it was fun. It was more fun.
I couldn't having a whale of a time.
We had a whale. I couldn't believe they were paying us. They kept paying us. We kept having fun. The more fun we had, the more they paid us. Because the more fun we had, the more successful the show was, and then the more money we got. We kept getting, so it was great. We got paid to have fun.
This is the thing. Me and Kath get paid to do this, and it's just we get to hang out with people like you.
I know.
Listen, one more question, then we're going to sell the hell out of these.
We got to talk. We got to talk to Roland and Sean.
Tell me about Angela Lansbury. What was Murder, She Wrote like? You did do Murder, She Wrote, didn't you?
I know, but you're going to get me in trouble with all these stories. Because
I wasn't fishing for...
Ian doesn't know. Ian doesn't know. You ask a question like that, and it's an hour later, we'll be talking about something else.
I was expecting... it was great. No. It was great. We had to go there. But
well,
you implying something bad
happened. I can make it short.
Sorry, Roland's just rolling his eyes.
Going, oh, God.
Well, I just know, but it's a great question. You don't have enough time at 1 a.m.
His wife, he comes to visit me. We live about 45 miles apart, and then he's there for 8 hours. I said, what do you do? She said, we talk. For 8 hours? You've been there for 8 hours? Yeah, we talk.
And
it's true. Sits down. I said, we got to chop some wood. We're going to do this. And we go, I got to leave. It's been 6 hours. And we haven't left the kitchen. No, so the thing that surprised me is she didn't memorize lines.
Right.
And she was wonderful. So if you watch the show, you'll see she always looks down. She goes, so she does. Or she'll go, and so
I thought that was just a quizzical look.
And she'll think, and she'll go, well, and then the card people are magicians. Pete, they're like over here and they're down here, and they're always right. They gotta have the right. So and they're like ballet with the cards off screen because she looks down here, and certain scenes the cards are here, and she'll go, yeah. And certain times they'll be up here, and she'll be thinking. So that's it. So there's no walk and talk.
Yeah.
Speaking of magicians,
you never see her moving.
Oh, God.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Because then you'd have to pretty much, or sometimes she'll move and the card people are running.
Right. You answered it. Sean, are you not exhausted hanging out with this lot?
Never.
Really?
Never.
How are these doing, these shin pads? People are buying them and people are going for them, right?
Excellent. We just did a partnership with Four Screen Rovers.
There you go.
Most sustainable football club in the world.
They're like this. Our friend Will works with those guys, and they're like being incredibly green and doing everything they can to save the planet. That's all they're doing.
It's amazing what they're doing. We just think it as the future of the game and sport in general. So that's our little take on it. Progressing the game.
These are lovely. People want to get them. Give us the website again. Here we go. It's legendsoccer.com.
Right.
At Legend Soccer Co. is the place to go. And you can burn anything.
Anything.
I want a nude picture of your dad on these shin pads. I'll put in a big order.
No, we're going to charge you more, but we can make it. I think we can make it happen. I don't know.
It's not big enough. The shin pads.
Excellent. Excellent.
Dirk, it's so nice to see you. Are you working or anything? You just hanging out with the boys?
I'm just hanging out with the boys. Yeah,
Beautiful.
and I'm gonna be here till they're done with their thing, and then we'll go back. But make me an offer, and I'll come and we'll do magic with Pete.
Okay, I need someone to look after my cats. I can pay you $5 a day.
$5.
Oh yeah.
Oh look, yeah. No, it's great. I enjoyed it. We had fun. This time we had fun. Last time, so I'll see you in 12 years.
Come over again in 12 years. Roland and Sean, thank you so much for bringing these in. It's
pleasure. Thanks for having us.
You're going to hear a lot about these. These are going to
be the next big thing, are they?
Oh yeah.
Legendsoccer.com. Trust me, I know, because I got boys that are into football. They're shin pads. They don't last long. They're plastic ones.
They stink. These don't smell.
They're odorless.
They don't smell. They're odorless.
They don't. We submerged one for 90 days in water.
Sweat. In sweat.
And it actually removed those smell because they have the burnt bamboo smell. When we submerged in water, they came out and they had no smell. The water took the smell away, and there's no bacteria, nothing.
You got this because your little girl plays football. Your youngest.
Yeah, she does, and she loves this. To be able to go like this to her sister. Smell that!
Oh, it's odorless, man. That should have been your first selling point. Forget the bamboo stuff, and it's just we got odorless shin pads. Gentlemen, it's so nice to meet you. I wish you the very best of luck with this. Dirk,
thank you.
Get out of my studio for crying out loud.
I know, but I want to be paid. I want the $5.
You see the young lady outside, Amy? She's got it. Pete, you're going to stay for a little bit longer. Sure. We'll take some more calls. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
Oh, great! Pete Heat stayed.
Hello. Again.
I don't know if Dirk understands what magic is. I was blown away by that trick with the fez and the...
Yeah, I thought it was a cute little idea. He not so much.
Dirk Benedict,
I don't think he really knew what had happened.
He's so handsome. Did you see
think he
his
just
eyes?
thought that the trick was I had drawn a picture.
No,
I don't think he realised that picture wasn't on the card when I first handed it to him.
Did you see his eyes?
Oh, I got lost in them.
I could drown in those eyes.
I did, Ian.
Hey, Pete, so nice to see you, man.
It's lovely to see you.
Thank you. How's everything going? This is the Late Night Alternative. I'm Iain Lee. Catherine is showing Dirk and Roland and Sean out of here before they steal anything else. Pete Heat, magician, been on the show loads of times, and we love you, and we're going to do plugs and stuff for websites and things. How's everything going, Pete?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Busy?
Yeah. So
Christmas must be your time of year.
Christmas is my time of year, and if anyone would want to book me for an event or something, I guess that's when they do it. If any of your listeners, for example,
that's what you do, isn't it? You do. I mean, you have like a stage show, but you also do that thing where you go round to like a table. Ladies and gents, would you like?
Hey guys.
Hey guys,
would
you want a trick?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, so I mean, actually, luckily as I kind of get, I guess, better at it and get more well known, the events that I'm at are quite interesting now. So I go and mingle with like anyone. I do some quite mad events, and I basically mingle and do
sex clubs. You do
sex
sex
clubs.
clubs?
It's mainly sex clubs.
Sex clubs.
Yeah, in fact, it's exclusively what I'm trying to say.
If you want to book in for your sex club,
yeah,
but only,
yeah. But it's a very. They seem to
want to see my wand disappear. That's not appropriate.
You've seen my ex. Yeah. No, so I do a lot of basically a lot of prestigious corporate events and private events. But yeah, also yes, and I do stage kind of stand-up comedy kind of magic stuff, which is what I was doing in Edinburgh when I last spoke to you.
Yeah.
What else have I been doing? If you know the company Joe Malone, they make perfume and candles and stuff. Yes. I've been doing it's great.
Can you get me free candles?
Probably. I've been doing their Christmas campaign. So they've got this whole all these adverts on their social media and on the screens in their shop, and the theme is magic and mayhem. It's like Victorian magic, top hats, that sort of thing. But anyway, all the hands in it doing the graceful magic stuff. It's me. Wow. I can't prove that because my face isn't in it. But
exactly, it could be anybody. Let me look, if you're not long fingers.
Yeah.
What's the mayhem?
Well, I think it's just alliteration. It's got an M in it, and it sounds like magic, so it sounds like that should be the name. So I'm making perfume bottles appear and stuff. And I think they wanted to do it with real sleight of hand rather than with just computer trickery. So
of course you taught Jude Law.
I taught Jude Law for the Harry Potter, for the Fantastic Beasts films, yeah. And then he talked about me on the Graham Norton show, which was radical. It's not a word I say often, but I said it then.
Totally rad, man.
Yeah, it was rad, exactly. Yeah, it was also gnarly, I found. And what else? And I've just finished shooting a BBC Three show, actually. It's a pilot, but it's a broadcast pilot. So what that means is it will actually be on the iPlayer, which is where
because BBC Three now is online, isn't it?
It's exclusively on the iPlayer, I think.
But so people will be able to watch it. It's not out yet.
It's not out yet. I think it's coming out in January. And what it is,
it called Magic and Mayhem? Magic and Masturbation.
It's Magic, Mayhem and Masturbation, because we tried to get some of the sex club stuff into the show as well. No, it is not called that. It is, the title is not yet decided on, actually. It might just be called Magic School, because what it is, it's me and two other magicians teaching some sort of quite, I think it's fair to say disadvantaged young people how to do magic.
Wow.
So they're I was going to say kids, but they're not kids really. They're like 18, 19, they're that kind of age.
I'm the age now where I would call them kids.
Yeah, well, so would I, but then I think they'd be like kids, and you'd probably be picturing like,
5-year-olds.
Yeah. But no, they're sort of 18. They're adults technically. But anyway, they are, so they're from Bradford and around there, and we've been up there, basically this production company, found some people who, I think they probably agree that they hadn't really they were sort of a bit directionless.
Yeah.
Right? And some of them are in some quite bad circumstances or situations. Anyway.
Well, they're in Bradford. That's a joke. That's a joke. I like Bradford.
Yeah. And anyway, basically we've been teaching them magic because they all had a bit of an interest in it, or like they were intrigued by it. And it ended, I won't tell you how the series.
Yeah, don't tell us how it ends.
But basically, it's. I think it's good. I walked into it not really knowing, because it's a weird format, right? Teaching people magic rather than it being all about me, which is of course what I prefer. I have to do something good for the world, and thereby diluting my own screen time. But no, I think it's good. So I wasn't sure. It sounds like a strange idea for a show. It probably is. But they're great. They're great kids. I'm going to call them kids because it's easier. And they're lovely, and they all put effort in. They all sort of were changed by the process, I think.
Yeah.
We got on really well with them.
Are you
and there's some good magic in it as well, if you like.
Are you at home, like, constantly thinking of tricks? Or are you out on the bus and then you'll see someone eat a sandwich and you go,
sandwich, of course!
There's a trick. How do you do, or have you just got like a set routine, and I know this isn't the case, but you set routine and you can say, I've got a dozen tricks, that'll do.
No, I am always trying to think of tricks, but then also there is a bit of, I've got a dozen tricks, and they will probably be, like, I often only have a certain amount of time with people at these events, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do you show them the trick that you've done 10,000 times and that you have got every last nuance down, and you know every line, everything about the trick and how to wring every last drop of value out of it? Or do you go, I've been tinkering with this idea, guys, and then it's like, so you obviously try and do
corporate events. I don't do stand-up, but I've hosted corporate events and done quizzes and award ceremonies and stuff, and you stick those shows get paid very well. It's not always a crowd that wants to see you there.
Yeah, they didn't
as
come for
Nish
that.
Kumar found out the other day. You know, I thought he was treated abysmally, but
Yes, of
they're
course.
not there to see you. So you've got to do the short, quick stuff that you know people is going to work. But if you're doing your own Edinburgh show,
I do the weirdo stuff.
that's when I guess you're experimenting and bringing more of you into
exactly, because they've paid to come and see me specifically, and then therefore whatever comes out of my head is like, well, you asked for it. So it's like there'll be a trick with a loaf of bread, or as you've seen, like with a weasel, or with whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the weird stuff.
Amy, would you? Because if I do another trick with Pete, we're going to get the reaction of. I haven't seen them.
What
all.
a surprise!
Oh, yeah, you know him. Would you now? I don't know if Amy's religious background, personal background. She might find magic offensive, as some people do. Do you find magic offensive?
Well,
Dirk seemed to, yes. Would you come in and turn a microphone on and come and join us? And it's on. Perfect. Thank you. Come and join us. Amy, who's answering the phones tonight and is doing a great job.
I hope no one rings now.
Don't worry, they're not. Do you mind if we do this, Amy? Pete's going to do a magic trick.
Hi, Amy. Pete.
Perform, monkey.
I bloody will. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
How's it going? I'm Pete.
I do know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Amy. Have you got anything in your hands? No. If you put your hands out like that for me.
Her hands are flat out in front of her.
Slightly further apart and slightly lower down, actually. Yeah. Perfect. And in your head, can you think of one of your hands? So just either think right or left.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, yeah, you can tell me which one.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, drop your right hand down. So relax your right hand. With the other one, do this. Okay, so what this is make a fist. Okay, because that's going to make what I'm about to do more difficult. So,
her right hand is down. I'm being professional here.
Yeah,
her right hand is down in her lap. Her left hand is closing the fist. And I have to say, that's not a karate fist, because she's actually got her thumb inside the fist. If you punch someone with that,
clean up.
you punch someone with that, you break your thumb.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to punch Pete, so we're safe. We're safe.
The karate trick, right? So what I'm going to do now, I've picked up my pen.
He's got a Sharpie pen.
And I'm going to draw something on my hand. I'm not anywhere near her hand. This should be stressed. He's drawn a little cross, a little X. Can you see that?
He's drawn a little X on his hand, just off centre.
Yeah. And I'm blowing on it to dry it, because it is permanent ink, and I want you to be sure of that. That doesn't go. Do you want to rub that and see if it wipes off? It doesn't, does it? No, it's permanent ink. But imagine if you could take the ink, right? And this is, Ian, you don't have to imagine it, you can watch. Imagine if you could take the ink and pull it off.
He's peeling it off, he's peeled
right?
it off.
So there's no longer an X on my head. And imagine if I could hold that X as if it was an object, and if I could, without touching you, if I could just throw it in your general direction.
But he's about a foot away from her, and he's just thrown nothing at her.
Turn your hand over for me.
No.
Yes.
Is it going to be there?
Let's have a look.
Oh my God! Dirk, are you listening? That's the reaction to a trick. Yeah. My God,
Yes,
the X is in exactly the same spot that it was on your hand.
Yeah. And is there anything left on my hand? There's not.
No, it's gone.
Yeah. Does that rub off your hand? It's dry ink, right?
Oh, that's a tattoo. That's there forever.
Yeah, that
Sorry,
is
Amy, we should have made that clear.
As long as you're going to pay for the removal. That's
Did
fine.
you feel that going on there? Did you notice anything?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Freaky, man. Amy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Pete, how did you do that?
So, what it is, Ian, I've got a selection of spells and charms. I've got a bag of charms here and amulets. I try and pick out the most sacred-looking amulet.
How many virgins did you have to sacrifice to get this gift?
It's hard. You lose count, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
How is Magic doing these days? Because it was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. Magic was... When were Penn and Teller doing their show?
I think it's still running. Yeah, it's, but it was in England for a bit.
For a bit.
Hosted
by Jonathan Ross.
Yeah. And then now it's in America.
It's in America.
And it's
and
hosted
around...
by that woman from American Pie who said one time at Bandcamp, that one.
Really?
I think so.
She's hosting it?
Well, if not, then it's just someone who looks vaguely similar to her and my brain's gone probably her.
But because then the BBC had a Magic series that I didn't think worked quite as well, where they would have teams of magicians teaching celebrities tricks.
Yeah.
And Magic was hot. It's one of those things that comes and goes in terms of TV exposure, you know. And but for me, as you know, I'm a huge fan of Magic. I become a 12-year-old kid and I start giggling and I've seen you do that trick before with Amy, but not with Amy, but I've seen you do that trick before.
I wasn't sure about that. Okay.
But still, I'm like, oh my God. And when Amy says, before she opened her hand, it's not going to be there, is it? That's I love
that's
it.
The moment,
I love it.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how you do it. And I'm going to keep asking, but I'm so glad you won't tell me. Where are we with magic at the moment in terms of it being popular with TV people? And
well, actually, something that we talked about maybe a couple of times ago when I was on here, when I came to see you, was Magic for Humans, right? The Netflix thing. The second series of that has just come out.
Oh, has it?
So I'm looking forward to. I've downloaded a couple to watch on my phone. I believe
they say
it's
dropped. It's dropped.
It's dropped. The season, sorry, not series as well. That's what
season 2 has dropped. Is it?
Yeah. So that's like literally the most
my
recent.
kids enjoyed that.
That was fun, wasn't it? The first series.
Yeah.
There was DMC Beyond Magic on Netflix, and although I think he seems like a lovely guy, I didn't really enjoy that. Do you know who DMC is?
No, he sounds like a dick. There was a Dick
Munch's Club. That's what it's
Dick Munch's Club. Yeah,
Munch's.
Dick. Okay,
better than what you thought.
Thank you.
But thank you for going along with it.
Yeah.
No. I think he seems lovely. And
how do you join this Dick Munch's Club? Because I'm bisexual now, and I would totally be up for membership for that. We'll discuss it off there.
We'll talk. Yeah, you got to go to my sex club, and then it's the. So anyway, he seems like a lovely man, but.
What is it about? Without being rude about him necessarily, what is it about that show that doesn't quite
do it for me?
Work for you? Because I've not seen it.
No, so it's a kind of a street magic show where he's going around the world. There's been a few shows like this where you go around the world doing magic in different places. It's very stylish, but for me, to the point of boredom, it's all like long exposures of sort of traffic going by and sunrise over Cairo or whatever, and it's like I decided to head out and get to know the city before I.
Okay, that's the persona he's gone for.
But I've done stuff before where I've been made to read that sort of voiceover over stuff, and I've cringed while I was doing it, and I thought that I've decided that's not me, and I'm not going to do another show like that unless it pays really well.
Tell me about it.
Or unless I just don't have anything else on, or probably
the trick is the star. The trick is the star of the show, and the magicians have their own. Remember when David Blaine came along, and everyone was like, "Whoa, okay, it's not just old white dudes with bow ties and stuff." So there's a bit of it, but I just want to see tricks, and that was why Magic for Humans was great. Is because the guy hosting it was actually had a great personality, but it was tricks.
Yeah,
it was some tricks.
Yeah, but I think it is both though, isn't it? Because you can have a really good trick, but you can have an obnoxious magician, right? And being a magician, you realise most magicians are obnoxious magicians. We've talked about this before, how I think there's a certain personality type that gets into magic.
Yeah, losers.
100%. There was not one magician working today who's not a loser and a dick. I don't know.
You did your show in Edinburgh. You said that there was one night, in fact, the night that I think Paul McCartney's brother came along to see your show.
Was it Paul McCartney's brother?
I told you that, Mike McCartney.
Oh, I didn't know he was actually Paul McCartney.
Oh, you thought that was a joke?
Yeah.
He's Mike McCartney. He's actually.
Okay. But no. It turned out it wasn't the night. I think he came on a fine night.
Oh, okay. Because he tweeted that he really enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Right, because there was one show you did in Edinburgh where the audience was small.
It was 12 people.
And they were all magicians.
Yeah, 12 people in 160 seated room. Yeah, so it was half of them were magicians, and they all knew, obviously, even though some of the tricks they hadn't seen before because they're my original ones, they kind of know where it was going to go because they're magicians, right? This is what they do. And the other few people were professional comedians. And there was the one other guy who was just a guy, and that's why I thought maybe it was this dude, the Macca. And it was just
tough crowd.
Yeah, also and with the best, they weren't horrible, with the best will in the world, they were trying to sort of smile and go, ooh, and act impressed by stuff, but it just wasn't, it was never going to be anything.
They weren't sat there with their legs crossed and notebooks.
No, they were, they were to be fair to them, they were applauding and stuff, but it was just, it was crushing. And also, just the fact that they came on that night and they assume, I imagine, that every night is like that. So my cool comedian mates who are they're finally coming tonight. Okay, great. They come along and it's like, is this?
Yeah.
Because when they heard it with what venue I was in, 160 seats. Wow, you must be doing well.
Yeah.
they come and they're the only people there. Okay, I get it.
Did it go all right, Edinburgh, though?
Yeah, it did. I mean, otherwise, apart from that day, I think it was good even. I didn't get anything out of it in terms of sort of reviews or profile or whatever, because I didn't, probably for various reasons, but I didn't have a press agent, and it seems like you need one now.
You do these days,
yeah, which I didn't, the last couple of times I did it, I did fine, and I got loads of reviews and stuff, but
you need a press agent, or you just need a little bit of luck as well.
You just got a good show maybe.
Yeah. We need to. I need to.
I'll try that next time.
Don't push yourself too hard. 0344 499 1000. If you want to talk to Pete, or if you just want to phone up and talk the usual old bollocks that we talk on a weeknight. This is the Late Night Alternative on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
Are we allowed to say on air what you just said to me privately? That personal confession, or is that private?
No, you can tell me that. I mean, you can tell them that.
I'll tell you it. What you said was...
Thank you. Yes, I'm all ears.
We were just talking about Edinburgh's, and I did Edinburgh, like 22 and 21 years ago, and I did a couple of shows with Mackenzie Crook, and a show with Mackenzie and Mitch Benn, and another show. The first time it was great, because Bob Mortimer came, and you know, but people were coming to see Mackenzie both years, because even then he was a bit of a name, and I just felt less than. I felt I was taking way too many drugs. I mean, there's a lot of drugs going on. It was exhausting, and
it's a way to sort of compare yourself to everyone, isn't it?
Horrible.
But in an unfavourable way, because there's always going to be people that are in bigger venues and getting better reviews and whatever.
I hate it, but you were saying you want to be a comedian more than you want to be. Hey, Catherine. Hey. Did the gentleman get off?
Just now.
They all happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Happy.
Good.
They can talk, can't they?
Oh man, alive! Tell me about it. We had Amy in. Amy, we should send the tape of Amy reacting to the magic trick to Dirk, so he knows how to react when he sees something amazing and skillful. But go on, go on. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, I think this is partly that grass is greener on the other side thing. Like for me, magic, I've been doing it for so long and I love it, but I'm kind of phoning it in by this point. Like,
really?
I mean, I can do it.
Is there a frustration that we're talking about this show you've got on BBC Three, and there's but I genuinely, I love magic, and I've met loads of magicians. You're genuinely my favourite, because I think what you do is unique. I think the tricks you do are incredible. I think the persona, which I know is pretty much you on stage, is just I just love it. You're my favourite.
Thank you.
And you're working all the time, and you're doing all these parties, but in terms of TV, which is how a lot of our careers, our industry is judged, it's just never quite happened for you. You've written for TV, you've done bits on TV, but it's not tonight at 7:30. It's the Pete.
No, nobody knows who I am. I've been stopped in the street like twice in my life, and, and I've done 3 series on Sky.
Yeah.
I've done, but they're all like on random channels that no one's heard of. They're all like, so yeah. I think, well, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I think it will, but then I kind of have to think that.
So is there a bit of you that goes, I've been doing this for years and it's not quite, I'm making a good living out of it, but it's not quite
definitely
where I want to be now?
Definitely. But I actually think I wasn't, when I thought I was ready for it years ago, like when I, in sort of 2007, 8, I was this sort of wild child in London partying all the time. I was, maybe this is more how I saw myself, but basically I was, and there was a bit of sort of buzz around me then, I thought, and I was like, right, yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to be this sort of star. And I was having meetings with TV production companies all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was ready for it, but I don't think I was ready for it. I think I'm so much better now than I was.
Yeah.
I'm so much more comfortable in myself. I'm so much more, I just know so much more about how the world works in the magic world and the TV world as much as the actual real world. And now it's like, I think now if someone, I made this pilot thing as I've talked to you about, it's like a comedy magic thing. And I think it's funny and I think it's good basically. And if I shoot myself, and I think if the right person sees that, someone at some sort of comedy friendly channel like Channel 4 or Dave or whatever, if they see it and like it, which I think they probably would if they were in comedy, I think I'm ready to do a comedy magic series, and it'd be like nothing else that's out there at the moment. It would be, the closest thing would probably be the thing we were talking about, the Justin Willman thing on Netflix, because that's sort of surreal comedy magic. But you're
completely different to him as well.
Different to him.
The Magic for Humans show.
So I think now I'm in a position where I've got this encyclopedic knowledge of magic, or close to that. There are people that know way more than me, but I've certainly got enough to write a series worth of stuff.
Could I ask you to do Catherine now in front of me?
Beg pardon?
Would you mind if Pete did you in front of me, please?
Okay.
Very rude, very rude. Yeah, sure. Do you want to see a trick, Catherine?
Do you want to see? There was a brilliant bit. You missed it.
You'd never ask.
Put the bit with Amy in the podcast. It was so lovely because he did a trick and she had her hand shut, and the reveal was you open your hand and it's going to sit there and she's holding her hand going, it's not going to be in there, is it? It was so charming. It was really, really lovely. Thank you, Amy, for that. It was wonderful. Go on.
Okay.
He has a pack of cards.
The cards have come out. Okay. Kath, we're going to get a card each. In fact, is this mic still on? Do you want to sit next to me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll get it close.
Okay. So, that's me shuffling the cards. I haven't just developed a bad wind in the studio.
Not unheard of in this studio.
Oh, pardon?
Steady.
Yeah. Well, okay, and where's that pen gone? Because that would be relevant in a second. There we go. Okay, so pack of cards and a pen. Kath, we're going to get a card each. Okay. So I'm going to flick through the pack, and I just want you to say stop somewhere. Okay.
Stop.
About there?
Yeah.
Are we happy?
Yeah.
You can go further if you want. It's not one of those things where I want you to choose a certain colour. You happy there? Okay. Okay, and I'm going to get you to write your... I just want you to be certain.
I love it because Kath's quite surly and a little bit cocky, and it's a real... I want to stop there.
Okay,
I'm stopping there. That's it.
Trying to change my mind. Okay, so I'm going to cut where you said, yeah? Happy?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to bring that to the top. So this is the card you stopped me at. Yeah? Seemed pretty fair. And I'm going to get you to put your name on it. Okay, so can you... I'll hold it, but yeah, if you just put either your name or your initials. I'll hold it there.
Oh, you're going to hold it, are you? I see.
Yeah. Because otherwise you're going to fanny about with it.
I've learned my lesson from Dirk. Okay, thank you. In fact, you know what? No, you can hold it. And not only can you hold it, I'm going to fold it as well, like this. And you're going to hold it so I'm folding it into quarters.
Folding it into quarters.
Kath's signed card. And I'd like you to hold it in your teeth. Is that something you'd be up for?
Oh.
Okay.
Kath has got great teeth.
This is
a card holding teeth.
She's holding a folded card with her name on between her teeth. Okay. And okay, the next card down, which is the...
You're not going to shoot it out,
so you've got,
yeah, but not with a gun.
Yeah, Kathy, by the way, what was it? 7 of diamonds or something, was it? Okay, so Kath got something like 7 of diamonds, and it's got a name on it, more importantly, so you remember. The next one down is the Queen of Clubs, which I'm going to write my name on. Okay.
Try not to lick this.
Don't swallow it.
Okay. Okay, so the Queen of Clubs with Pete across the middle. It's quite hard to see because it's the Queen of Clubs, but you can see that just about. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and I am going to fold that like yours, so it's in quarters.
What long fingers you've got. I mean, I know you're a tall man. He's taller than me, if you're wondering, dear listener, but he's got amazing fingers.
Tall fingers.
Pianist's fingers, lover's fingers, a gentleman's fingers.
So, just to recap, before I put this in my mouth and I'm unable to do so, Kath is holding a folded card with her name on between her teeth. I have now just put my name on the card, and the next card down, and I'm about to hold it between my teeth. Okay?
What do we do now?
Hang on a minute. Let me get a picture. Okay. Let me get a picture of this. Come on, guys.
Okay.
I'm crying out loud.
Okay.
This may take a minute to get my phone working. Hang on. Sorry. Just stay there. You look a bit like a young Gary Lineker today.
Thank you. At least it's a young one. Thank you. So now. Here's the thing, we're a couple of feet apart,
yes,
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch this. You can maybe describe what's happening.
Okay. He's put the card in his mouth. Oh, and he's bringing it back out again. That's disgusting.
It's like a regurgitator.
He's taking the card out of his mouth, he's unfolding the card. It's Catherine's card! Whoa! Oh, you dirty boy!
Catherine's card with her name on. Kath.
You got to swallow your card, Kath.
Take your card out of your mouth.
So that was the one that was supposed to be in her mouth the whole time. What have you got?
The Queen of Clubs with my name on.
In her mouth. He somehow transported them. That is disgusting.
And yet.
Now you have to lick his card that he swallowed. Oh, that's horrible.
Thank you.
I mean, it's impressive, but it's disgusting, isn't it? Really?
That's my angle. It's sort of impressive but disgusting. That's like...
Why did David Blaine become a dick?
Did he?
Did he become one?
Well, it was when he stopped doing magic and started doing stunts.
Yeah, we've talked about this actually before, haven't we? But then he moved back into, I think, some of his most recent specials, which they're not that well known in England.
I've not seen one for a long time.
I've
not seen the one since he got tossed off into space. He balanced on a pole, didn't he, for a month, and then he was supposed to get fired up into space, and it didn't work.
He just got down off a ladder.
That was quite funny. Yeah, and he was dangling on a helium balloon. And his voiceover thing was like David Blaine disappears into the night sky.
But he was there.
Then someone goes, he ain't disappeared, he over there.
Have you not seen that? No. Oh, it's great.
But since then, he's been putting out more specials occasionally, and they're really good.
Really?
They're really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's returned to form. He's one of the best again. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
We'll have some of that. Pete, but if people, you weddings, bar mitzvahs, parties, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot of that stuff, and I would love you to book me for yours.
He's not as creepy as he sounds. I promise.
No, I'm doing a little creepy voice there, but I realise you don't actually know me, so maybe I'm just a creep. So I do a lot of corporate events. Basically, this December's almost booked up already, to be honest. So there's kind of no point in me being here, but I might as well try and get you to book me for the last couple of dates. And there's always next year. But yeah, I do corporate events, private events. I write for TV shows. I star in TV shows. If you're listening and you are a commissioner, you should probably get in touch and I'll send you my pilot.
A lot of commissioners.
Oh, so many, big time.
11:32.
That's what I thought. I thought this is the most direct way.
Yeah.
I thought I could email them. Or what's better? Yeah.
Catch them while they're asleep.
Exactly. Catch them while they're asleep, because they'd never expect that. That's like
subliminal.
Yeah, thinking outside of the box. Yeah. Get in their dreams. Freddy Krueger.
Heat on the Twitter.
At Pete Heat on Twitter, yes, and on Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube.
Now, I thought we were Facebook friends, but I don't think we're friends. I think you just like we just.
I didn't want to be the one requesting you, Ian, because I think everyone wants to be your friend. I thought you're the famous.
I'm friends with you, but not really friends.
I think you follow
with you.
my page or something.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Shall I? I'm gonna hit you up. Yeah. I don't really. I have Facebook and I have my page on there.
Yeah, which I follow.
Thank you. But I don't use Facebook. I don't.
No,
it's a bit weird. And now that we know that
they're for the thickies.
Now that we know that they are corrupt and funded by Russia.
No, it's funny. You can put the same thing on Twitter and Facebook, and the comments on Twitter will be all like people trying to outdo each other with their wordplay, and on Facebook it will be like just that cry laugh emoji 1,000 times. And
or knobhead.
Yes, all that.
Yeah, could you stop doing that on my own
thing? My favourite.
To pictures of my kids, please. I like one of those guys.
Which one?
Which one? Because I like the.
My favourite is the youngest. Your favourite is the eldest.
Oh yeah.
So that keeps it. So my boys are listening to this at any point in the near future, or maybe in the next 50 years after I'm dead. That is, of course, a joke.
He doesn't like
my favourite.
That's why I said to my kids.
It's so nice to see you, man. I hope that first hour wasn't too weird for you.
No, it was it was a learning experience. No, basically I just sort of sat there, and I think we all just sat there and let him talk, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. And I think he did like especially like at least some of the tricks. I think he just didn't really know what to do with them, how to process.
He was talking to me out in the corridor. He said, "I really enjoyed that." He said, "A lot of people don't know what to do with me, and they see me going off topic, and I see the panic in their eyes, and they're looking at their script." I went, "Yeah, we haven't got a script."
Don't have it. This is the script.
This is
their names. Roland, Sean, and Pete. Because I'm terrible with names.
It's a piece of paper with just 3 words.
Just 3 names, and I'll be auctioning this off for sick kids. I mean, only sick kids can buy it. Pete, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And again, I said this off here, but you were so nice to my boys last time you came in. I mean, like proper nice, and they still one of them, but nice. But they still talk about that, and so I shall let them know that, and I'll show them that thing that you sent as well.
Thank you. I mean, I think they'll like it. I think it'll be fun. And I mean, I think I offered if they ever want to like learn magic, then I will happily teach.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
But not you guys at home. I can't be bothered with lessons. I genuinely mean that. I cannot be bothered with lessons normally.
Amy, can we play the trail and the ads, please? You have got the ability to do that. Of course you have.
Unless you're Jude Law.
0344 499 1000. We'll take your calls. This is the Late Night Alternative, weeknights from 10 on Talk Radio.
Moonlit musings from mums, madams, and meat packers.
Oh, never mind. I must have misheard.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
The station's brilliant.
On Talk Radio.
What a night! What a night! How can they end this? I'm having the best time of my life here. 0344 499 1000. Pete's gone. Catherine's gone to, it's got Pete off the premises. If you just tuned in, you missed the weirdest first hour. Dirk Benedict, his son, and his son's mate talking about shin pads and magic and the A-team, and wow, what fun. It's just me for the moment. Kath will be back soon. 0344 499 1000. There's Kath out there. Hiya! I'm going to be honest, I hadn't really thought past the first hour of the show, so I haven't got any content for you. I was just so excited about A, watching The Apprentice, and B, Dirk and Pete coming in. Two of my favourite people. If you get the chance, if you see Pete Heats doing a show, go and see it, man, because he's brilliant. Alistair's on the phone. Good evening, Alistair.
Oh, evening, Ian. How's it going?
Yeah, you know what? I've had better days. I've had worse days. I've got a tax bill that's significantly more than I expected it to be. The builders have not finished my bathroom. I had my first shower today since Friday, but I had to have it at the showers here at work, have you been there, Amy? It is weird. It's creepy. They're not even in this building. The security guard said my pass wouldn't work, but it did work. I hate life. But apart from that, I'm fine, Alistair. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm good. Ever since the call thing was out of the way, I felt much calmer and serener.
There you go. So you felt Serena? Does she know about this?
Serena.
You got it. But,
yeah, it's, I just wish that, that you could get out of this trough, man, because, I love you. Basically.
Thank you, brother. I can't seem to crawl out of this at the moment, but I'm gonna, it will happen. This too shall pass and all of that. I'm gonna tweet a picture of me and the face man, and hopefully, that will cheer up the world. I just can't climb out of it at the moment, Alistair, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. I do know why. There's uncertainty about work. There's money issues. But there's also something more than that. There's also something much bigger than all of that. And I don't know what it is. And,
with me, when I sort of get, I'm assuming similar to that, I always sort of go into where am I in terms of me and the universe. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And start to think, well, sometimes, would anyone miss me if I wasn't here, kind of thing. And I know it's not great to think like that. And normally I can bring myself out of it, especially now I've stopped drinking. But it does sometimes come back, and I just have to do what I do to try and deal with it and get better. But anyway, I hope that you're feeling better soon.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, Alistair. Always nice to talk to you. Always a pleasure. Never a chore, as I believe. They've got terrible dandruff at the moment. I don't quite know what's going on there. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You'd be very, very welcome. Empty switchboard. It's always strange, and tricky to get calls after we've had a guest, and boy, oh boy, we've had some guests tonight. With the 5 people, but 4 people, and me and Catherine in the studio. It's a mess of chairs, a sea of chairs, so getting calls after that is always a little bit strange, a little bit tricky. I don't have anything in terms of phone-in topics with the traditional, favourite packed lunches and your best school trips, and I haven't got anything like that. Alistair there touched on me not feeling great. I'm feeling lousy at the moment, but I don't really want to dwell on that too much because that's a vibe kill, talking about my anxiety. I started having a panic attack earlier on. I've only ever had a few panic attacks in my life, and I started having one earlier on, and it was, geez, man, they're awful. They're awful. But what are you going to do? I don't want to wang on about that. So, we have a show here. We have an hour and 15 minutes to sit, you and I, dear listener, and Catherine is joining me now, to sit and talk about anything you want. But please, let's forget. You're right, Boyle? Yeah. What a look how many chairs there are. That was crazy.
It's quite nice having company, isn't it?
I'm just telling the listener how difficult it is for us to get calls, and how weird it must be for them to phone in after we've had a guest, and we've had 4, all of whom were delightful. And Alistair very kindly phoned up and asked how I was, and I said, I'm not feeling great, but I don't really want to dwell on that because that's a bit of a vibe kill. So we have an open opportunity. We have our friend Pete on the line. We'll speak to Pete in a second. We have an open opportunity for you, dear listener, to phone in. I have one question, actually, but to phone in and talk about anything you want. I would urge, although the one thing I've got has a slight political bent, but only slight. I would urge that we let's avoid Brexit. hardly anyone's talked about Brexit in the last few days. And I know, but not necessarily just because of Purdah. I mean, at the end of the NATO, did you see Boris Johnson's NATO press conference?
I didn't see it, no.
I heard, did you hear it?
No.
So he did a NATO press conference talking about NATO. And at the end, there were two questions that he didn't like. One was about the comments about him and Trudeau laughing at Trump.
Yes.
And the other one was about Prince Andrew. And he refused. He said, no, we're getting very silly now. I don't want to answer these. Before I go, though, I do just want to say, only the Tories will get Brexit done. And then he went into like a party political broadcast.
Wow.
So much so that I heard it on another radio station. The presenter, Sheila Fogarty, went, just have to say, you're listening now to a party political broadcast by the Conservative Party at what is supposed to be a NATO press conference. It was the weirdest thing. But that's it dawned on me, because that's the first time I've heard Brexit mentioned in ages. We said we will get Brexit done. And it was very, very strange, and it felt very inappropriate to be doing it then.
Yeah, it feels like that guy who was interviewed about police dogs and threw in about Epstein.
Yeah. Very, very strange. But there's one ever so slight. Well, one story that's about Jeremy Corbyn that kind of got me today, and I don't want to talk about Jeremy Corbyn, although I will to introduce the story, but then we can go off on a slight bit. He's recorded an interview with, I cannot remember her name. I think it's for the BBC.
No.
And I think it's being shown tomorrow. But the bit they've released is him talking about the Queen's speech at Christmas.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
And she, let me see if I can find it. It was on, I saw it on Twitter. It seems, in an age when we've all seen politicians destroyed because they've forgotten numbers. Remember, it was the woman who got some numbers wrong, and it's...
Diane Abbott.
Diane Abbott. And in fact, that years later, that's the thing. Politicians get numbers wrong, they're hounded. Maybe rightly, but I tend to think kind of wrongly. I tend to think you're doing a lot of interviews. You can't be expected to have all the numbers. If you make a huge blunder, okay, fine. And then there have been examples in all parties where people have got something wrong or have said something. You think, okay, fine.
Is this the Julie Etchingham thing for ITV?
Yes.
Right.
That is it. And I'm wondering have you got it in front of you?
I've got a thing from the Express talking about it.
Here we go. Here we go. Here's can I read the transcript, okay? Because it's not political. I just think it's odd that this is what they've gone for. Julie Etchingham, talk to us a bit about Christmas in the Corbyn household. Do you sit down to watch the Queen's speech, Mr. Corbyn? Jeremy Corbyn. It's on in the morning. Usually we have it on some of the time. Julie, it's not on in the morning. It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Corbyn, it's when it's repeated in the afternoon. Etchingham, so you don't sit down as a family to watch the Queen's speech? Corbyn, we don't watch television very much on Christmas Day, maybe a film in the evening. I'd like to do a bit of exercise on Christmas morning. Etchingham, you do some exercise on Christmas morning. I don't think the Queen's speech is in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when everyone watches it. Corbyn, well, our Christmas is sometimes... You don't watch it, do you, Mr. Corbyn? There is lots to do. I enjoy the presence of my family and friends around Christmas, obviously like everybody else does. And I also visit the homeless shelter either on Christmas Day or the day before to talk and listen to people's lives about how they could be made better with a government that cared for them. So he doesn't watch the Queen's speech, right? It's obvious he doesn't watch it, right? And... I feel, my interpretation of just reading that, I've not seen it, my interpretation is he got asked a question and he got caught on the back foot a bit. He bottled it. Instead of saying, no, I don't watch it, and there are lots of people like me that don't watch it, and it's great that it happens, and it's a great tradition, and if people want to watch that, they're entitled to, but to me, family and friends is something like that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong in saying...
Ask me if I watch the Queen's speech.
Do you watch the Queen's speech?
Sometimes I forget.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, it's slightly different in that but he's kind of told it's that thing of, you sort of tell a small lie is maybe too strong a word. You say something, but then you realise you've got to keep expanding and expanding and expanding.
Yeah, it feels like he didn't realise that was going to be an important question. He thought it was a pleasantry. He kind of smoothed out a response and then realised he'd been caught.
Yeah. But now here's the thing, Jeremy Corbyn doesn't watch the Queen's speech.
Is anyone
Come on,
surprised?
guys, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, is it?
anyone
Not watching the
surprised?
Queen speak. First of all, he's a Republican, from what I know. I certainly would imagine that he is. But I bet you tomorrow that the Conservatives will be making a big thing about, well, he doesn't watch the Queen. Because of course Boris Johnson in the debate said the royal family is beyond reproach.
No, he said the institution.
Thank you very much indeed. The monarchy.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. Which, you know, with current news stories about Prince Andrew, they can't be. They can't be. And it's just, we got loads of calls. Luke, Ollie, Val and Pete, I will come to that.
Here's the thing. The people that care about him watching the Queen's speech won't care about him going to see... Well, no, that's not true.
They won't be voting for him anyway.
They will think he's virtue signalling by talking about going to the homeless shelter.
Yeah. It's just struck me, obviously we got to be careful about what we say and stuff, but it just struck me that that's the thing they're leaking or they're trailing for the interview that's going to be shown tomorrow. That's a really odd thing. The question is, do you watch the Queen's speech? Because I don't. If it's on, my mum used to like watching it when I used to have Christmas. I don't even know if my in-laws watched the Queen's speech. I don't think I've ever watched a whole Queen's speech. I've been in a room when it's been on, but I've not. But who watch it? Hang on a minute.
My gran used to love it.
The question isn't, do you watch the Queen's speech? The question is, who the hell watches the Queen's speech? That's the question. Who watches?
Here's the thing. The Queen doesn't watch it. It's pre-recorded.
Yeah. Exactly. and the issue with this is, okay, he's been caught telling a small lie, a white lie, a mistruth. Jeez, I mean, that doesn't mean he's gonna, put his hand in the till. It doesn't mean anything.
No.
It means he was a little bit inept at answering that question when actually he could have been really honest and people, some people would have berated him and some people would have gone, all right, yeah, fair play.
Yeah, as far as I remember, watching certain things on television isn't policy. But I must check that.
It's who the hell watches the Queen's speech? There we go. If you want to answer that, you're more than welcome to. We've got a load of calls now. Evening, Des.
Hello there, Cass. Hello, Ian.
Hello,
all right.
Des.
All right, Des, what you got for us?
Yes, it's a non-story, isn't it? It's a non-story. This constant, the way they're picking on Jeremy Corbyn.
Hang on a minute.
The media have they're out for him.
No. Well, some of them. Well, hang on. Some of them. Des, if you'd let me speak, if you'd have some manners and let me speak, I can.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, just, yeah, some of them have. The majority of the printed press in this country is of a right-wing bent. That's a fact. I think the only sort of two printed newspapers that are left-leaning are the Mirror and the Guardian. I think that's pretty fair comment. So yes, in terms of the printed press, but Boris Johnson gets quite a lot of flack in the press. Have you not seen that?
No, it's not in the same. It's not in the same.
Well, but he's
way.
not being accused.
We're talking about also the way they're picking the smallest detail.
Anti-Semitism isn't a small detail.
This is rubbish. He's not an anti-Semite.
I didn't say he was an anti-Semite.
But by picking on something...
Anti-Semitism is not a small...
Not something.
Gosh, Des, you're a very rude person.
I haven't said it's not small.
Well, but anti-Semitism is not...
but you're mentioning...
Des, could we have a conversation, please, mate?
Okay, yeah.
I'm mentioning anti-Semitism because that is one of the things that Jeremy Corbyn has been singled out for. Not for being anti-Semitic himself, although it could be argued that he is. I saw that mural that he gave the thumbs up to, but certainly for the way that he has not dealt with anti-Semitism in the Labour Party.
That's absolutely
Which bit was rubbish, Des?
He's not. The bit about, I'm not going to go into the big, because it's a whole,
which bit of what I said, Des?
We're going into the politics.
Jesus.
Des? You've got to be able to criticise Israel without being called an anti-Semite.
Yes, and you can do that, Des. But which bit of what I said was rubbish?
No, I'm not saying what you're saying.
You did say that was rubbish.
I'm saying that the way that he's being portrayed in the media and the anti-Semitism smear...
No, there's not a smear. Who's doing the smearing, Des? Who's doing the smearing?
the people who are running the right-wing agenda.
Say it. Who's doing this? Who are the people doing the smearing?
Everything from Andrew Neil to the Daily Mirror to the Daily Mail. Who used
the Daily Mirror is a left-leaning paper, Des.
No, sorry. The Daily Mail, I said.
Who controls that media, Des?
In the 1930s.
Des, who controls that media? Who controls that media?
It's nothing to do about it's rich people who control that media. It's those who follow a ruling class ideal. It's not any group of. It's people who are helping each other.
Do the Jews control the media?
No, it's nothing to do with Jews and all this rubbish.
Well, anti-Semitism is. Are you suggesting?
Well, that's a separate issue.
Des.
That's a separate. The people who control the media.
Are you suggesting?
Can I just finish?
You can answer my question. No. Yes, because that's how it works, and you've been very rude so far. Are you suggesting
that's what you say? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's what I say because it's true.
It's not true. Well, it's not true because you're continuing a smear.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying it.
You are. A lot of the
you're not listening.
Media is doing this.
Des, I'm the right wing media. Okay, fine.
No, you're not.
Thank you.
Not.
I'm actually being very impartial. I've not said anything. That mural, he gave the thumbs up. I saw that mural. That was anti-Semitic.
What mural? You explain the mural.
You know the mural, Des.
No, I don't know the mural. You tell me about the mural.
So you phoned up to talk about something you don't actually know a lot of the main facts about.
No, I phoned up to ring about.
There was a huge anti-Semitic mural.
There was a huge smeared of a good man.
There was a
good man is being smeared.
There was
that's the reality.
There was a huge anti-Semitic mural that Jeremy Corbyn gave a.
What is the anti-Semitic? Could you explain, please? What's the?
You've seen the picture, haven't you, Des? You know what the picture is.
No, I haven't. I'm trying to get these facts. People.
Well, go and look online, Des. It's not my job. Not my job to educate people.
But then you're continuing assumptions, which
it's not an assumption. It's a fact. He gave a thumbs up to an anti-Semitic. He gave a thumbs up to an anti-Semitic mural.
And this is what they're saying about the little thing about not answering, which was my original call. The little thing about not answering thing about listening to the Queen's speech has been suddenly blown out of proportion.
I think anti-Semitism is more important than whether or not you watch the Queen's speech.
No, you brought that up.
Yes, because
nobody said that it isn't important.
You talked about. You're very rude, Des.
The Islamophobia and the racism in the
Des, you're very, very rude. You're very, very rude.
Well, because you don't like being answered back.
No, I don't like rude people who are too thick to have a conversation.
You have to listen as well, and
yeah. And what I'm listening to is a load of old bollocks.
No. Well, I could say the same about you.
Well, yeah, but you have a choice. You have a choice to switch the radio off.
Yeah, it's not a point.
And I would suggest you do that.
You're continuing a smear without realising it.
It's not a smear. It's not a smear that he approved.
What's this mural? You don't even know the facts yourself.
I do know the facts.
To educate.
I do know the facts.
You can't have it both ways.
Des, I know
it both ways.
I don't know what that means. That's irrelevant to this conversation. I do know the mural. I've seen it.
Well, can you explain? What's the mural?
There was a huge anti-Semitic mural, which I'll describe to you, even though I suspect you've seen the picture.
I haven't seen anything. I honestly tell you that. That's why I'm saying it.
That Jeremy Corbyn approved. He liked it. And the picture is a group of men with big old-fashioned hook noses counting money. I believe I'd need to see it again. Go on, Catherine.
It looks like they're playing Monopoly on the backs of people who were bent over.
Yeah. And is there a Star of David there or not? I seem to remember that, but there may not be.
No, there isn't. There's the all-seeing eye above
the all-seeing eye. And they're following the old-fashioned meme of the big hook-nosed Jew with all the money controlling the world. That's anti-Semitic, right? That's a fact. And he liked it.
He later, Des, later recognised it was anti-Semitic. This is according to the BBC. He later, hang on a minute, Des. He later said he had not looked at it properly, calling it deeply disturbing and anti-Semitic.
Well, then he has rejected it, hasn't he?
Not initially, mate. Not initially, and it was only after people called him to. Des, here's the thing. Yes, there is Islamophobia in the Conservative Party. Yes, it is outrageous that they said they were going to do an investigation into it. They have not done that, and now Boris Johnson is saying they will do that if they get back into power after the election. That will be one of the first things they do. I think that's outrageous that they've allowed it to drag on that long. But if you are denying that there is anti-Semitism within the Labour Party, then you, my friend, are part of the problem. Yes, you are allowed to criticise. Well, there you go.
Of the Labour Party.
Well, exactly. You are allowed to criticise. Des, will you shut up, you rude man? Shut up! Shut up! Tell you faded down. Yes, you are allowed to criticise Israel. Of course you are. But if you are suggesting that the criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic, you're wrong. But there is huge problem with anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. And you keep shouting that there isn't, doesn't solve it. Daniel's saying, sorry, but I'm with Des on this one. Well, you're wrong. The facts are there. Des, I've not really enjoyed talking to you. You've been a very rude gentleman. I suggest you go and listen to LBC.
Thank you much. No, you need to listen, mate.
Or?
No, you need to listen.
Go on then, tell me. Go on, let's be late for the news. You tell me, go on.
Okay. Racism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, all of it is wrong. Okay?
Correct. Yes, correct.
The point is that with these little things that section.
Oh, do you know what, Des? You're talking a lot of old bollocks. For goodness sakes, you're part of the problem, mate. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee
on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Anytime at all. Anytime at all. Anytime at all. All you gotta do is go, and I'll be there. If you need somebody to love, just look into my eyes. I'll be there to make you feel right. If you're feeling sorry and sad, I'd really sympathize. Don't you be sad, just call me tonight. Anytime at all. Anytime at all. Anytime at all. All you gotta do is go, and I'll be there. If the sun has faded away, I'll try to make it shine. There is nothing I won't do. When you need a shoulder to cry on, I hope it will be mine. Call me tonight and I'll come to you. Anytime at all. Anytime at all. Anytime at all. All you gotta do is go, and I'll be there. Anytime at all. Anytime at all.
Here we go. Anytime at all. All you gotta do is call, and I'll be there.
Anytime at all.
Oh, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there to speak to Val. Val!
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Val!
I've got your platinum membership card.
Oh, what number is it?
160.
160, Catherine. There she is.
The best.
The best card. Catherine and I performed an incantation over that card as we were laminating it. Whatever you hear me say to any of the other idiots, 160 is the card.
And I've also got the CD, the single.
Oh, Val. Well, thank you for your support. A load of people have ordered the card sort of in the last 4 or 5 days. I really apologise, I've not got it out. Tomorrow, Catherine and I are going to do the cards, and I will get them in the post first thing Friday morning. I promise. I hope it brings you joy and happiness, Val.
It does.
Great. Anything else?
I've got the book as well.
Oh, look at you. This is a super fan. Would you Val, would you marry me? Then you can have me as part of your collection.
The collection.
No.
Oh.
You're quite right.
Outrageous behaviour. Outrageous.
She's not daft.
We'd have a good old time.
Rutting away. Val, imagine us rutting away.
I think that's why she's saying no.
Okay, fair enough. Val, thank you for your support. It is gratefully appreciated.
Okay, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Some people saying, Daniel saying, I didn't like the way you treated Des. Maybe the problem is that people are not given a chance to explain their point. Very bullish, Ian. But I don't know if you heard, he was very, very ill-mannered, Daniel. Very, very, very ill-mannered. And also, I don't know if you read, there's a general election going on. And what that means is that, we don't anyway, but we can't let just people come on and say stuff. We have to challenge them. We have to be fair. We've got to be fair to all of the parties, and at some point tonight you'll get a little stab saying everybody that's involved in the election, because we've got, it's very dangerous ground, and we tend to avoid politics anyway. But on this show, you will be challenged, I'm afraid. You will be, challenged. And, someone else tweeted me saying, is no one allowed to defend Corbyn? Well, yeah, but, all this because he doesn't watch the Queen's speech. Yeah, but, there is anti-Islamic feeling in the Tory party. That's a fact, and they've acknowledged it. And it's criminal that they haven't done this investigation that they've been teasing us with for a long time. And likewise, there are something like in the Labour Party, I think 136, thereabouts, complaints of anti-Semitism that are kind of in this backlog of not being investigated. And that's not good enough. And when the chief rabbi comes out and says, you know what, I don't think Corbyn's the man, why you may not want to let that sway how you vote, that's actually quite a big thing, and I think in this, it's a very, very strange election. I think partly because it's so short run up, because it's Christmas and because everything's dark, and also there's a weird vibe. I think Donald Trump really opened Pandora's box in terms of people from all parties being allowed to say kind of what they want. Go on, you want to say something?
I was just looking at The Guardian, just in the interest of being absolutely accurate, because we've got to. It's only fair. What The Guardian is saying about anti-Semitism and Labour. Anti-Semitism and Labour, everything you need to know, right? This is from... it doesn't have a date on it. Yes, Tuesday, 26th of November. Is the chief rabbi urging voters not to opt for Labour? No, he was not that explicit, but writing in the Times, he asked people to vote with their conscience. He said supporters of Corbyn had hounded parliamentarians, members and even staff out of the party for challenging anti-Jewish racism, and that 130 cases of anti-Semitism were outstanding against Labour members. Now, the next question, are there 130 cases of anti-Semitism outstanding in the party? According to The Guardian, Labour insists the figure of 130 is inaccurate and says it's taking robust action to tackle anti-Semitism, including quick suspensions, a process for rapid expulsions and an education programme. However, it's not yet provided its own up-to-date figure.
There you go. So we don't have a number. And thank you for your understanding. How the hell are we discussing this on this show? What have we become? What have we become? We become the home to Luke. Good evening, Luke.
Can I say, this is initially a massive fanboy call. I think I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Oh, get the bell out quick!
I think I need the bell.
Hang on, they should give me a warning. They're going to do this. You can hear it.
There it is.
There you go.
There you go, Luke. I hope you enjoyed that.
Well done, Luke. Thanks a lot, mate.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think I deserved it. But I think, so, the first thing is, Ian, I think I last called you, I think when I was 18 years old, which I think
Whoa!
is about...
Stop the clock!
Yeah.
Stop the clock! Time out! This guy said long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, first-time caller to this station.
Jesus, I gave this guy a bell.
Withdraw the bell.
The bell is withdrawn.
I think I deserve the bell.
No, you may think you do, but I decided who deserves the bell. You've called me before.
You took that bell by stealth.
Luke, outrageous.
What if it was a personal call to the people who not, even if in a personal capacity, not deserve the bell? I think I deserve the bell. It's a new station.
No,
it's been 18
you're not
years.
a first-time caller. Tell me about...
That's not, I don't think that's fair, but...
That's fine. The rule! It's like, you're like Michael Gove rocking up to Channel 4 going, well, you've got to let us in, and Channel 4 going, well, no, it's a leaders' debate. And then you see the Conservatives complain to Ofcom, and Ofcom went, we're not going to investigate that. It's the same thing, that Channel 4 made the rules up. I'm making the rules up. You're a second-time caller.
Do you know what? I hate myself for having a bell.
Well, don't go that far now. It's got a little bit serious.
Let's make it worth it.
Ridiculous.
Let's make it worth it, Luke.
Give us this call, buddy.
Well, see, now there's a lot of, I now feel a lot of emotional, so I've been building up to this call for a long time because I've been listening to the show on Talk Radio since it started.
Thank you.
I'm a huge fan. I think it's and I'm inspired to call in because of I don't know what the news or the rumours are or whatever, but I just wanted to say that it's a unique show, and I think it's got a lot of, in terms of I wanted to know whether you think, you know, I hear you, Ian, talk a lot about the act and about the kind of cultural context in which you're both functioning in, and I wonder whether you think there's any kind of, in terms of your influences for this show, do you think there's, because I think it does have a particular cultural position, and I think it's an important cultural item for our contemporary moment.
Gosh.
And I think it's genuinely, I wonder whether, because I don't know whether there's any forebearers to it. I don't know whether there is any kind of precedent for it. And so, I don't know, and you talk about the act and about whether it has so it suggests that there is a context to it, and certainly listening for a long period of time, you get a sense of the act, and you get a kind of sense of what is going on, but also you get a sense that it's kind of organic and it's kind of reacting to what is going on. So I just thought I'd ring in and say, because in the light of what might be coming or whatever, I wanted to express my kind of gratitude for the show, and also just say, whether there is anything that you think where the show comes from, and whether there's any precedent for it, because maybe it's
Okay, now let me. I have found precedents for it after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a great documentary that I recommend everybody watch. I started watching it the other day, then I stopped for some reason. Radio Unnameable, right? And it's this old dude called Bob Fass who was doing a show in New York in the 60s and the 70s. And retrospectively, we kind of got to this point before me and Kath both watched this film. I look at that and go, oh, he's doing kind of a similar thing he did kind of a similar thing to what we're doing, and we were unaware of that. We hadn't nicked it, but there are definitely similarities, and I suspect there are a few more old American heads from the 60s and 70s that are doing this kind of positive community, let's be happy kind of vibe. I don't know. Yeah. In terms of my influences, Clive Bull, huge fan of Clive Bull, Tommy Boyd to a certain extent, although I discovered him later, comedians, Andy Kaufman, and that's it, and it's an evolution. I've been doing this for 16, 17 years. Kath's been doing this for a number of years. I had my act that was evolving one way. Kath had her, spiel that was evolving another way. Then we got together and we went off in a third direction. It's an evolution, man. It's driven by our hearts and by our souls, and more so than by our brains. And it sort of seems to work. I would say it works like 80% of the time.
No, completely. And I think the you and Kath combination is a fantastic direction for the show. I think it is a bit of a dream team, and I think it works incredibly well. And I remember the last time I spoke to you, I remember because it was I'd composed a song which was called, and I don't know whether I can say the title of it on Talk Radio, but it was called, and it holds a very particular place in my heart, this particular song, because I'd written it and composed it on my home music suite, and I rang it, and I composed it for you, and this sounds like I'm really stalkerish, but it wasn't like that. It was sort of like, I think you'd appreciate it.
It's called Ian, I Want to Lick You.
No, it wasn't. It was when you were on another station.
You can say LBC.
Yeah, I can say LBC.
It exists. It exists.
So it was a song called, Nick Ferrari's Cock and Balls, and I
don't know why you hesitated there. It's just biological. We all know he's got them.
That's sort of okay, isn't it? So I can just say that was what it was called, and it was basically me repeating the words Nick Ferrari's Cock and Balls over a drum and bass track.
Do you know what? I remember that. Yes, I do. I remember very little. I remember that. By the way, don't go onto YouTube, guys, and type in Nick Ferrari Cock and Balls, because what comes up is it's not a great look. I do remember that look. Thank you. How is your music career progressing?
Well, I actually went on to do music at university, but then sadly, Nick Ferrari's Cock and Balls never took off in the charts or in the abstract music. It was quite a kind of abstract, conceptual piece, you know what I mean? And people weren't ready for it.
No.
people weren't ready for Nick Ferrari's cock and balls.
I think they're ready for Nick Ferrari's cock and balls now. Catherine's just... I told you not to put that into YouTube.
Well, nothing to do with Nick Ferrari, but the second suggestion was Dan's £80 testicles.
Yeah, that's based on Nick Ferrari. Luke, do you have the track there? Can you play it for us now?
I wish I did. So the reason I remembered it was because it was on MySpace, and MySpace recently vacated themselves of all their content.
Yeah.
And when I was 18 years old, so I think, sadly, it's lost in the midst of MySpace.
We just have to imagine, like the great lost smile tapes of the Beach Boys. We just have to imagine. Luke, thank you very much indeed. I've got to move on because I've got so many calls. I've not hit one single ad break, even close to the time, and this one is way off.
Neon lit night talk for torch singers, trolley dollies, and train wrecks like me.
You never know just where the conversation will take you.
What I'm going to say sounds ridiculous.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
It's interesting, isn't it? People hear what they want to hear. People heard, when we were talking to Des, people on Twitter heard me belittling, being very anti-Corbyn and very anti-Labour and spreading smears and stuff. It's just interesting that people hear what they want to hear. No one's picked up on the fact that I said the Conservative Party is rife with Islamophobia, and that Boris Johnson, it's shocking that he's not conducted this investigation that he's been promising for ages. No one's picked up on that.
Tell you what, if someone rings up and tells us that Boris Johnson hasn't said anything racist,
we'll call them out. You know, it's really, here's the thing, we have to be particularly, you know what purdah is, guys. I don't need to tell you what purdah is. We have to be particularly aware of ourselves. I'm not allowed to express an opinion or express a preference or any of that stuff, which I think is the way it should be. Personally, I think the newspapers should also have to abide by those rules. It's one of media's great mysteries that the radio and TV has to be, you know, fair, and the papers can print, vote for this guy, the other guy's a jerk off. You know, I just think there's no consistency. But a lot of people heard something that didn't actually happen. I think bias is what it's about, isn't it? It's about inherent bias, and people hear what they want to hear. It's like so many people say the BBC is biased towards the Tories.
Yeah.
But also so many people say the BBC is biased towards Labour, left-leaning BBC.
So the argument is they must be doing something right.
To me says, well, you're hearing what you want to hear, so they've got to be somewhere in the middle. Maybe sometimes they go a little bit that way, sometimes they go a little bit that way, but they've got to be kind of somewhere in the middle if both sides are hearing bias for the other side. Anyway, I don't quite know how we got into this. We had the face man in earlier on. Yes, Steve.
Hiya, Ian, Catherine.
Hey.
Steve.
Hello. You was talking about racism in the two major political parties.
Just before we go any further.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go there now?
No, I don't. All I was going to say, that's what you was talking about, correct?
Right. But before we go any further.
Yes. Do you
really want to go there? We had the face man in the studio.
No, I don't want to go there.
Well, then don't.
I won't. So, Ian, what I was going to say is, I've had a lovely Christmas lunch at work today.
Beautiful.
And then I've been out and had a curry and a few beers.
Christmas lunch and a curry? What the hell is this?
I know, what a day.
You might have had a late curry.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant day. So what I was going to do, I was going to say, if you and Catherine were all right with it, I was going to go straight into Bonnie Tyler, straight in, by the way. And then...
Go in then, go straight in!
And then, Ian, talk about the greatest movie sequel ever made.
Well, just go in. Don't say I'm going to go straight in and then just go straight in, Kath.
Yeah, I wish
you
just his. You don't ever need to ask permission for a bit of Bonnie Tyler.
Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever. And we'll only be made in the right, 'cause we'll never be wrong. To never we can take it to the end of the line. Your love is like a shadow at the end of the time, all of the time. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. We're living in a powder keg and giving up sparks. I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start. Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only falling apart. Iain, Catherine, please.
Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
Yeah,
well, Steve, I would judge that you've never actually heard that song before. So that was pretty good.
I think he was doing the laid-back John Lewis version for next year's adverts.
Yeah, the tune, the words. Who cares about those two things?
I really need you tonight.
Greatest sequel of all time.
Yeah.
Iain, Catherine, go on, what do you reckon?
Well, I mean, the real one is Godfather 2. It's the only one where the sequel is better than the first one. But let's do a fun one. Oh, Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan. Was that 3? 3 was Search for Spock.
I don't know. I've got into the Dark Knight trilogy. Second one I thought was pretty good, man.
Really? I'm not saying it. Obviously, Dark Knight is very good.
Are you going to go Mighty Ducks 2?
Or
Sister Act?
No.
Sister Act Back in the Habit?
Back in the Habit. No, the greatest sequel ever.
Arthur 2 on the Rocks.
It's a Schwarzenegger film.
Steve, what is this? Why is your whole life is one long tease? Just say stuff!
Stop teasing us!
Stop teasing us and just say stuff!
So, the second greatest Schwarzenegger film of all time is Predator, as we all know.
Right. And the sequel is Predator 2, yeah?
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Pete!
Hello.
Oh, it's this guy.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Shut your face!
Liar!
Shut your face, Peter. God's sakes. Ain't this game over yet? Good evening, Peter. Peter now owns a PlayStation 4. And Peter will be joining us on Sunday night, round about 7:30, 8 o'clock, to play Call of Duty.
I will. I'm going to hide and then I'm going to get killed.
Yeah, there's a bit, by the way, if you want to join us, there's a big old update that's got to be downloaded. I meant to download it the other day. I forgot. Big old update. So make sure you download it before
That is ridiculous.
Sorry?
The amount that I'm having to download for this game is ridiculous.
Well, do you want to play, or do you not want to play, Pete?
Steve, I don't know who Steve is, but Pete very eloquently reminded us on Twitter. He remembers when you could get 6 games on a cassette back in the day, and now he's got to download 100 GBs. That's 100 Great Britons.
It's 160, I think, including the update.
All right, mate, calm down. No one actually cares. That's your training, soldier. That is your training for when we give you a good pummeling in the ring on Sunday.
Consider it boot camp.
Yeah, well, I've got a headset on the way, so I'll be able to F and Jeff with the best of them.
Good lad. Can't wait to hear Pete say the Pete, do me a favour.
No.
Yeah.
Tell me to F off and I'll dump it. I just want to hear you swear. That was a little bit. We dumped that, guys. We dumped that. But that was a little bit.
He meant that.
Didn't that change?
Yeah.
Didn't his tone change?
Yeah, there's a darkness there.
Isn't there?
Wow.
Jolly Pete, who enjoys being our apprentice correspondent, likes playing video games, likes Doctor Who. Also, I'm a killer.
That was like hearing Judi Dench swear.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like in that scene in that film where the Sound of Music woman gets her tits out.
Oh, Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews in S.O.B., directed by Blake Edwards, who was her husband.
I've certainly never seen that clip online.
I've never seen the film, I've just seen the stills from it, if I'm completely honest. What a great scene, though. What a greatest scenes in movies, in cinema history, when Julie Andrews gets her boobs out.
Were they practically perfect?
Oh, yes, they were! Pete, I enjoyed that. Good. I'm looking forward to hearing you swear at David Babcock on Sunday night.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
What can we do for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's Apprentice night, isn't it?
Here we go. Hang on
Now, we missed the end.
Hang on, there's the Apprentice correspondent update with...
Pete.
There we go. I mean, it's just a busted flush, this whole correspondent thing. All the other correspondents are dicks, but we have to keep doing it now. Yes, Pete?
Don't spoil it, because we haven't seen the end.
I think it was something about perfume, wasn't it?
Yeah.
he's supposed to be updating us. They don't know. I want to meet the two people I want to meet and marry. The lady who didn't have her picture taken in the outside bar, instead had her picture taken on some steps. I want to meet and marry her.
Near the hydrangea.
Near the hydrangea. And I want to meet and marry the lady who had the cut-off jeans up her bum as she climbed up a mountain on the box. I want to meet those two women.
Did that happen this week?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
It was on.
Oh, for God's sake.
Tell you what I got from The Apprentice this week. That the best way to smell a perfume is to have a fan. Squirt it on a fan and waft it seductively and affront your nose.
See, I've been getting it wrong and squirting it on a fanny.
Oh, for God's sake.
Ollie, stay there. We'll come to you very soon. 34449911000. This is Talk Radio.
The late night alternative with that man, Iain Lee. There's no strangers here, just friends you haven't stalked on Facebook yet.
Have never sent my picture to anyone who didn't request it.
The late night alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Yes.
Matty says, I didn't expect Pete to go through with that. Really changed my opinion on him. Hashtag release the Pete. Cut. Sorry, I misread that. I haven't got my glasses on. So...
I think we're all shook.
We had Dirk Benedict in the show earlier on in the studio, being unimpressed by magic. Very unimpressed. And being... Well, I mean, he just sat there. Dirk Benedict.
My favourite story of his many stories, the Murder, She Wrote one. Angela Lansbury never learnt her lines.
That's great.
I'll never watch it the same again.
I was expecting her... Because when you ask someone, so you were on this show, what was it like? They always go... it was great fun. The star was great. I had a great time. I'm really... No. Angela said, I've never told this story. Angela Lansbury doesn't learn her script. She does the old Hancock method and having it written down. Wow.
Yeah.
And that macrobiotic diet thing, it's 29. He had pancreatic cancer, which killed people.
Prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer. Sorry, I apologise. Prostate cancer. I can't remember which one my dad had. I always get the two confused, as I did just
pancreatic.
Was it? The treatment back then was castration.
Mm-hmm.
Holy samosas. I did not know that. Anyway, really, really fascinating gentleman. Who knows, I've had a text saying, from a friend of a friend, saying that went down really well. They're very pleased with it, and that if we're still here at some point next year, we might get the 3 surviving members of the A-Team in the studio!
Love it when a plan comes together. He was so nice. And downstairs he was telling me about his time in Panto in Milton Keynes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It was one of the hardest jobs he's ever done.
Oh, I bet.
Because it was like
work.
3 shows a day sometimes. So it was exhausting.
I nearly saw then. Forget that. I nearly saw. Peter has infected the show with his filth. Good evening, Ollie.
Hello.
Hello, Ollie.
Ian and Kath.
Hello.
I can't believe you had to go at correspondence when you had a correspondent on the line waiting. So
we had Pete on,
rude.
but Pete was not a very good correspondent. He doesn't even watch the show.
Yeah. But then...
What? Are you a correspondent?
Yeah, I'm the Mars correspondent, aren't I?
All right, well, Jesus Christ. Okay. It's time to get a stroppy, ill-informed, stupid, factually incorrect Mars correspondent update with...
Ollie.
Well, I should have brought it up because I haven't actually got any...
Oh! There you go, I told you. What a waste of our time. That's our Mars correspondent.
Ollie.
He's a complete waste of time.
Ollie.
You got to give me a break because it's like been dead for 1 billion years. So
after the war.
No, I didn't have. Anyway, I didn't know if I was going to be serious to begin with because I had something silly, but then you brought up the Jeremy Corbyn stuff, and I totally forgot about the mural stuff. I'm echoing as well.
Yeah, that's your problem.
I totally forgot about the mural stuff.
Yeah.
And, I remember that being ridiculous. Like, it's so
I think I saw that mural. I think I drove past it at one point. And driving past, I'm sure I did. I certainly drove past something with someone in my car and went, oh my God, did you see that?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was that.
And it was like, oh, I didn't notice it was anti-Semitic. And it's like the whole Nazi propaganda. It's like in 10-foot picture.
Yeah, if you didn't recognise it, that's also a problem.
But he saw it on the Facebook. Now I'm going to be fair. He saw it. Am I right? He saw it on a Facebook page, so he wasn't looking at the 10 feet square picture. He was looking at a picture on his internet. Now, I would say that the picture is so offensive that you would still struggle to miss that. You know, even a cursory glance you would see that there are so many tropes in there. I said memes earlier. I meant tropes. But that was his argument, was that he saw it on a Facebook page, and that is not the same as standing in front of it.
It was a Facebook post by the street artist that did it. And the artist was asking why the image faced destruction. And Corbyn said, you know, he sort of sent something that appeared to support it remaining.
It's a crap election because it's like, I feel like I have to let go of some of my sensibilities because I care about people in poverty, I care about NHS and stuff like that, but I do care about the anti-Semitism, and that does worry about me.
I've heard a lot of people say that their vote this year will be a compromise. But a lot of people from different sides of the field say that the vote they cast, there will have to be a little bit of compromise, not everybody, a little bit of compromise, and it may be even a little bit of holding their noses as they make their mark on the ballot paper. We're in a really weird political time when it could be argued that none of the leaders are really getting the home runs that they should be getting from any of the parties. I mean, my favourite is the UKIP launch on...
Oh, okay.
The UKIP launch on Sky News. If you know, it really is, you know, as Matt Lucas said, it's like your mum is in charge of UKIP for a day, and I would thoroughly recommend you go and see that.
It is all getting reduced, or the danger is that it's all getting reduced to personality politics.
Yeah. It's just weird. Since Brexit, since Trump, I've never really understood politics, and now I don't have a clue what's going on. I mean, I'm finding it actually quite interesting, but I don't really want to live in interesting times. I want to live in quite dull times where, you know, things kind of just chunter along at a steady, old, boring pace. I don't know. It's a weird thing. What else did you have for us, Ollington?
I have got dirt on your favourite leader.
I don't have a favourite leader, Ollie, as you know. During the times of Purdah, we are impartial. I do not have a favourite leader. I do not fancy one leader more than any of the leaders. I fancy all of the leaders exactly the same.
Okay, well, in other news then, Jo Swinson, there's a scandal brewing that she might have catapulted stones at squirrels.
Oh, God. and Corbyn's going, thank God, that gets me off the Queen's speech thing. Oh, hang on.
Is that true? Because at this point now...
I don't think that's true. I'd heard that before. I think that's a fake... That's a fake tweet, isn't it, that's doing the rounds?
I don't know, I saw it today, and apparently there's pictures going around as well now. I think it's turned into a giant meme of her hurting squirrels.
Ollie, Catherine is Googling it and is finding out. I think that was a fake tweet that was doing the rounds about 10 days ago, and maybe it's popping up and rearing its head. But here's the thing, right? I just don't know what to believe anymore. And also the truth doesn't really matter. Because you say something that's untrue about one of the leaders, right? That will then grow and will fly on Twitter. And after about an hour or so, people go, well, no. That's fake. But it doesn't matter because the people that wanted to hear the lie have heard the lie and have bought it. Go on, Catherine.
It is fake. This is according to...
There we go.
Let's have a look. In The Guardian.
Ollie spreading fake news. Who'd have thought it?
Joel Golby talks about this week's biggest Twitter controversy.
Twinternet.
Jo Swinson's squirrel problem.
There we go.
It says, how am I meant to explain to you as a civilised person that someone online concocted a bit... Jo Swinson kills squirrels, and then mocked up a screenshot of a Mirror story with a preposterous byline by Warrant's Telephone that explained in detail that Jo Swinson kills squirrels. And in this article, by the fake Mirror, she's calling them pleb bunnies. I mean... And then a whole faction of online jokers had followed up with more fake stories about violent and historic hatred of squirrels, and photoshopped squirrels lying prone under the wheels of her bus, and that it was all fake, and this is dangerous and deranged, but also hilarious. How do I explain to you that, as a normal person, how do I explain to you that that is something that's happening?
Do you think,
Ollie got suckered in by fake news.
She told LBC, I like squirrels.
Yeah, do you think that by saying something that you're giving it oxygen and that you're...
No, you're giving it oxygen! You phoned in with it, not us!
You phoned in as if it was real.
You said it was a true story! I fact-checked! I called you out and Catherine fact-checked you! So don't blame us!
Yeah, but there might be a little bit of truth in there, you know, people say
we got Donald Trump on the line!
She might want to give a squirrel the evils, we don't know, we can't prove that.
I bet she's got a squirrel in her pocket and
she's... go away! What a scumbag! Can you believe that?
My youngest, it really does not like wildlife. She likes certain wildlife. She hates birds. And this manifested itself when she was really small, and she was out in the back garden. I thought,
this is great.
She's such a sweetie pie. She was out there watering my flowers in a really rubbish way. But it was keeping her busy. And then a massive wood pigeon landed near her, and she turned to it, just like Snow White, and shouted, "Go away! Go away!" And that's continued. That's how she treats
Jane, who's not her real name, and I blocked on Twitter, but I can see her tweets to the show, is often quite contrary. Says, so is Oliver Twist anti-Semitic? Fagin looks the same as a mural. Yes. The original film of Oliver Twist, which I think was 1946, is the portrayal of Fagin is incredibly anti-Semitic. It's that real hook nose. It was, who was the actor? Very famous actor, played Fagin, Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness, and there's a thing here actually. Look, I've got it's a fake, really huge prosthetic nose. Here we go. Although critically acclaimed, so the answer is yes, Jane. Alec Guinness's portrayal.
I suspect you knew.
Yeah, Alec Guinness's portrayal of Fagin and his makeup was considered anti-Semitic by some, as it was felt to perpetuate Jewish racial stereotypes. By the way, it was considered anti-Semitic at the time. It was called out at the time. I heard a thing about this on Radio 4 ages ago, actually, a little documentary. Guinness wore heavy makeup, including a large prosthetic nose, to make him look like the character as he appeared in George Cruikshank's illustrations. At the start of production, the Production Code Administration had advised the director, David Lean, this is 1946, to bear in mind the advisability of omitting from the portrayal of Fagin any elements or inference that would be offensive to any specific racial group or religion. Lean commissioned the makeup artist Stuart Freeborn to create Fagin's features. Freeborn, himself part Jewish, had suggested to Lean that Fagin's exaggerated profile should be toned down for fear of causing offence. But Lean rejected this idea. In a screen test featuring Guinness in toned-down makeup, Fagin was said to resemble Jesus Christ. On this basis, Lean decided to continue filming with a faithful reproduction of Cruikshank's Fagin, pointing out that Fagin was not explicitly identified as Jewish in the screenplay. The March 1949 release of the film in Germany was met with protests outside the Kerbal cinema by Jewish objectors. The mayor of Berlin, Ernst Reuter, was a signatory to their petition which called for the withdrawal of the film. The depiction of Fagin was considered especially problematic in the recent aftermath of the Holocaust. As a result of objections, and this film came out in 1946, this is really interesting, so thank you for bringing this up, Jane. As a result of objections by the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith and the New York Board of Rabbis, the film was not released in the States until 1951, with 7 minutes of profile shots and other parts of Guinness's performance cut. It received great acclaim from critics, but unlike Lean's Great Expectations, no Oscar nominations. The film was banned in Israel for anti-Semitism. It was banned in Egypt for portraying Fagin too sympathetically.
Gosh.
So yeah, is the answer to the question? Yeah, it is. In that particular film, I think in the 60s film, it's quite problematic because Fagin is that hook nose, it's that bent over, it's that grasping. What would you describe that movement with the hands there? The kind of rubbing of the hands together in a financially greedy kind of way. That are all tropes that anti-Semites use to describe Jews. So yes, it is anti-Semitic. Thank you very much indeed. This is Talk Radio.
Whispering lunar incantations for cross-parents, cross-dressers.
Yeah. Did you know this about me?
And cross-rail workers.
Steel and polycarbonate.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
I've got a very poor internet connection.
On Talk Radio.
Jane says, thanks for a great informative reply. The film still gets on telly every Christmas, though. No, it doesn't. Not the one I was talking about. You've got to listen, Jane. You've got to listen. And why does it get on? Why, we're only now just realising that Fairy Tale of New York has got the word faggot in. We learn as we go on, Jane. I don't know. You'd have to speak to the television companies. But yes, the portrayal... Jane, I don't know what... First of all, I block you because you're a pain in the arse, right? But also, I don't know what point you're trying to make here. Why don't you call us up? Because I ain't going to respond to any more of your tweets. Call us up, 0344 499 1000, and tell us what the point is you're trying to make about Oliver Twist. Because I really don't understand it. Nigel.
Ian, good evening. How are you?
Terrible. What can I do for you?
And hello, Kath, by the way. Good evening to you as well.
Hey.
Well, I rang you because I was interested when you mentioned Clive Ball from yesteryear, going back a few years.
Yeah.
And I think that poor old Clive Ball has become part of London's boring conversation. And the fun of that station has gone right out the window compared to what it was 10 years ago.
You should phone them and tell them. But they get millions of listeners. So they're doing something that works. I agree with you. It's certainly, it's not a station I listen to very often anymore. But it's obviously proving successful in different ways. Talk Radio, it dreams of getting a quarter of the listeners that they get. LBC is a phenomenon.
That says maybe, but Talk Radio has an individuality and it has a personality which only LBC can only hope to aspire to.
Yeah, but these are commercial.
Corporate.
But Nigel, these are commercial businesses, right? Talk Radio may not be around for much longer in this incarnation because we haven't got the figures. Everything is driven by figures. So yes, this may be more fun and it may appeal to you more, but LBC gets. It's a phenomenon. It's a broadcasting phenomenon. In years in the future, they're going to write a book about how LBC was turned around from a little failing local radio station that hardly anyone listened to a national phenomenon.
Okay, but on the flip side of what you've just said, and I accept what you've just said, it's been going since 1973-74. It's been bought by a global, well, forgive the pun, a large company.
I don't know why you're telling us about it. Talk to them about it.
Well, I just think that it's dull, and I think Talk Radio is inspirational in the way it presents programs.
Okay, well, get some blank tapes and record as much of it as you can to keep when this doesn't exist in this format anymore.
Well, I sincerely hope it does, because I think...
Well, go and read the news.
Yeah, I know. I've read it, and I've read about Matthew Wright and other people. I have read about it. I really have.
Okay, we'll take on board what you read. Here's the thing, right? I'm a big fan of personality radio that takes risks, that is a little bit different. But that's a niche. It's a niche.
Yeah.
This show is a cult. Julia's show, it's doing great. Julia Hartley-Brewer compared to where it was 2 years ago, but it still ain't getting in the figures that make advertisers go, whoa, yeah, let's sponsor this for £1 million. It is, it's a business driven by numbers.
Interesting, very interesting.
I'm an interesting guy.
You sure are. You are the man, and I just hope that it can survive and continue to flourish and actually grow.
Okay, well, you've not listened to anything I've said, because I've told you the answer without telling you the answer.
Well, the answer is, I don't know what the answer is, but I think the answer is like anything else. It needs marketing, it needs a way to sort of push it forward.
I would agree with that. I'd agree the marketing here has been abysmal, but I've kind of told you without telling you, so I can't really say any more without getting in trouble.
Don't tell me and get in trouble.
Thank you very much indeed. I will not. 0344. Thank you, Nigel. I look forward to listening to you if I switch over to another radio station later on tonight. He's in phoning mood. Good evening, Yana.
Hello, how are you? Hey, I'm a first-time caller to your show.
What a load of rubbish!
You told us about your gingerbread cathedral.
How dare you!
Hang on, but you went on at 1 a.m. when I called.
Yeah.
Were you?
Yes.
Last time?
That was us.
Why is everyone trying to sneak a free bell out of me? The bell ends here.
It certainly is.
Okay. Well, hi again.
Now she admits.
We never forget a cake, Yana, and that was some cake.
How's your granddaughter?
She's good. She's good. Yeah, I've stopped her swimming, unfortunately, and going to forest school because she keeps getting asthma, but only for the winter.
Okay, it's very, very cold. Although today, was it nice today it was beautiful sunshine, and if the sun caught you, me and Kath went out and had lunch outside, and if the sun caught you, it was very, very warm.
Oh, it's lovely. Where I live, it's so nice. I overlook the woods, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the pool is lovely. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Guess what I'm doing?
Making a gingerbread cake.
Yes.
Yeah, of course she is. This woman's addicted. She needs help.
I'm doing a gingerbread nativity scene.
Oh.
And that's what I wanted to call about, because on your radio station, not just the show, but the station, we're talking so much about anti-Semitism, and I have been phoning up about it and giving my bit, having lived in Israel for 7 years. But I just want to talk about nice things.
Let's talk about cakes.
Let's talk about cakes. Okay, well, I'm planning my daughter's wedding cake.
Oh, you're making it, are you? Of course you are. You're one of the very talented, what do you call it? Baker.
Baker.
I couldn't think of what the word is for someone who makes cakes. It's a baker.
Yes, so first time ever, I'm going to make a 4-tier gold, well, sort of metallic, that's the theme, and blue cake.
Are you going to do a test run?
I am.
Right, I thought
How
so.
did you know that?
Good.
Because it's the first time I actually bought those dummies, and I thought that only dummies use dummies because they look so silly, those polystyrene things. But I thought, I'm not going to waste 4 large cakes.
No. So you're going to use the fake cakes, and you're going to decorate the fake, like, polystyrene cakes?
To see, how much icing it takes, the quantities, and then practice making it look beautiful.
Do you know what?
You know, some cake makers for weddings, because people tend to want the tiers, and that is a lot of cake and it's quite expensive. They will do you a proper cake and then put the dummies on top.
I was going to say, can you not just do like 2 real cakes and 2 polystyrene cakes to save a lot of money?
And then buy a plain cake from Marx's, cut it up.
Get one of those Henry Caterpillar cakes from Decorate. Everyone loves those.
I think they might notice that's
everyone
not the same cake.
That's got to be said though. Right, Yana, you're like a professional, right? You're really good. Those Caterpillar cakes from Marx's though, they're the best cakes ever, aren't they?
They are wonderful. I love those types of cakes. I love my ambition is to make my cakes taste like those fake shop cakes.
There you go. Do it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
When is the wedding?
February.
Okay.
February, yes. So I'm very excited about that. And, I've never made the cake before, but then, that's how I do it. I never make something and then I research it.
I love it.
And have a go.
My boys are very lucky. Their grandma on my ex-wife's side is an amazing maker. She doesn't happen so much now, but the last few birthdays, what kind of cake would you want? And a couple of years ago, my oldest said, I want a Death Star. Now, the Death Star, Yana, is round.
I know it.
It took her 4 attempts, but she did it, and it was incredible.
Did she manage to make that little convex bit in the middle?
Yes, she did. It was amazing.
Oh wow, that is impressive.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Very clever.
Well, thank you. I feel like I can get back to it now.
Good. Well, thank you for ending the show on a nice bit of cake. And you're right, all I wanted to talk about was the Queen's speech, and it all suddenly got very, very heavy, and that's not what this show is about. So it's nice to talk to you, Anna. You have a good night, and we'll speak again soon.
Okay.
Thank you very much. There we go.
I love decorating a fancy cake.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can pull it off. I can't do it.
I have cried over cakes in the past, but I'm getting quite good at it.
Is that like is that an ingredient? An old lady's tears.
I decided I was going to make a chocolate carousel cake with handmade chocolate horses, but I was making it in the height of summer, and it was quite difficult. And my eldest was only little at that time, and I remember coming out of the kitchen having tried to unfold the horses because they were just like, and they were just like melting as I was sticking them in. Nothing was staying together. And I came out of the kitchen all rumpled, and I said to my daughter, I said, I'm really sorry, I think we're going to have to go to Tesco's and get you a cake. She didn't care, and that's when I went back in determined, right, you're having this.
I want the Colin the Caterpillar cakes.
So good.
I just like eating the face of a Colin the Caterpillar, and it's that chocolate around it.
They're so good.
It's the best cake in the world.
And it's true, right? A lot of these fancy cakes, the actual cake itself isn't great.
No, it's the look.
Because it's just what you do on top of it. Like, so you make a plain Victoria sponge or whatever, and then stick it on
Here he
top.
comes.
Oh no, don't do that. Because I will think were you talking about me?
Well, you should have been listening, mate. No, we were talking about Colin the Caterpillar cakes from Marks and Spencer's.
And how they're the best.
Have you ever had one of those?
Yeah, but I think
Come on, man.
they're always yeah, I mean, they look great, but they never they don't really taste that good.
Who is this guy?
What?
Who is this loser? God damn it!
You know, like the cake's not always that, it's not soft.
Listen, this we got.
I reckon your mum used to get it off the bargain shelf.
We got John Lithgow, not John Lithgow. John Turode in.
John Turode.
And the pervert
Mary
one.
Berry.
Who's the pervert?
Which one? I'm not
The
going to
one
say.
who likes the bald one, who's a grocer, who likes to smack.
That's a career ending.
He likes to smack.
That's a career ending trap, isn't it?
He likes to smack Botty. That's out in the public domain, isn't it? Is that not in the public domain?
It is now.
That's in the public domain. I like a smack Botty. Is nothing wrong with liking a smack Botty? Is that not in the public domain?
No, I'm not sure enough to say.
You tell us what's going on. You've got 30 seconds.
Well done.
What an image.
30 seconds.
Yep.
Okay,
What's his name?
let's
I'm
telling you. I'll tell you after.
We're going to speak to a guy tonight who's written a book called The Science of Being Human, a far-reaching, genuinely really interesting insight into the reasons that we queue the way that we do, the reason that traffic jams end up the way that they do, the reason that we think and behave and do things that we do. A whole half an hour with this guy, a little bit later on. Worth sticking about for.
Just to clarify, I don't know if Greg Wallace likes a smack Botty, but I do. This is Talk Radio.
We are
Talk Radio.